It's happened before. Mm, I'm still waiting. There, it's begun. Good. Glad to see it. Get all my eggs in my basket here before we get going. All right. So yeah, you'll intro Didley. You got 10 minutes, and then 10 minutes for you, Alex, and then we'll move it into an open floor format. See how we can do. It's gonna, it's gonna be spicy. All right, I'm gonna intro us up. Good evening, everybody. Tonight we're going to be debating, is OnlyFans good for society? And to start us off, we have Didley. So the floor is all yours, Didley, and thanks for being here.
Hello, thanks so much for having me. I am Didley. I'm a YouTuber and streamer. I specialize in ASMR, and I'm also an OnlyFans creator and an OnlyFans subscriber. So hopefully, with all my knowledge of being both a subscriber and a creator, I can hopefully clear up some misconceptions about OnlyFans because I know there is a lot of that. Um, and I guess, yeah, let's get into it. So the question is OnlyFans good for society? So first, before we can even begin to answer this, we want to answer, how do we define good? What makes something good for society? And I believe at the very root of this lies an individual's rights and freedom. So how do we determine what is good for society? We would hopefully want it to promote societal well-being and reduce societal harm when compared to alternative decisions. That alternative being the mainstream porn industry or a pornless society. And we know that countries that have banned porn are just the least safe countries in the world for women to live or people in general. We know that straight up banning porn just isn't the answer. Pornography is not going anywhere. And as for the mainstream porn industry, much of the criticisms I have towards the mainstream porn industry are actually alleviated by the existence of OnlyFans. For example, it's the most ethical way to consume porn. It's the safest form of sex work. Creators also control the means to the production of their content. They own their content, which means they are much more financially independent. It also delivers a much more realistic representation of sex and nudity. It has a reduced prevalence of child pornography and reduces the ease of access to pornographic material to minors. We also know that countries with more progressive views on sex work, who also love porn, are the happiest countries in the world, particularly countries that follow the Nordic model. So Sweden, the Netherlands, Finland. So I think if we would like to maximize happiness and reduce harm, OnlyFans is absolutely a step in the right direction. And I'm looking forward to where this conversation goes. I don't know where it's going to go. We'll see. And I'll leave you to it, Alex.
All right.
Oh,
Well, we'll kick the floor over to Alex for 10 minutes, but I do want to do a quick little housekeeping here just to remind everybody once again, if you haven't heard, if you've been running around with your fingers in your ears, we've got DebateCon 4 coming up. Dallas, Texas is where we're going to be, everybody. I'm hanging out in Nova Scotia right now today, but on Friday I'm getting on the plane. Let me know where you're hanging out right now in the live chat, and check out those tickets in the description. We're going to hand it over to Primetime Alex here I saw read your Zoom name, Alex, for 10 minutes, and the floor is yours, buddy.
well, Didley, I don't want to personally attack you at all because, that's not what we do here at a debate. And I just want to say a lot of, your opening statement was very cute. You're a very cute lady, but that's kind of the sad reality is that a beautiful woman like you that could easily probably marry a guy and just have a cushy life doesn't have to spread her legs for a living. And like, that's the harsh reality. You made a lot of statements about how the mainstream porn industry is bad. And I would agree that it is. There's a documentary called Hot Girls Wanted, and it talks about the predatory nature of porn producers that often violate girls and they sign them up for porn shoots to where they're like degraded, and it's not, always consensual. So, if you're going to compare mainstream porn to OnlyFans, I mean, I guess you could argue that maybe it is a little more empowering for the creator because you have a little more control over the scenes. Like, that I would, I guess, agree with you. But when you talk about the overall whole of society, I think you have to look at the explosion of OnlyFans and the amount of students that have killed themselves because their mothers have been exposed as being an OnlyFans model. So if you're a young kid and you're going to school and all of a sudden all the other students find your mom's OnlyFans, that's very depressing. That's very tough to deal with. And let's just be real. Let's call a spade a spade. What an OnlyFans content creator is, you're a sex worker. And whether it's, solo masturbation or it's just showing your boobs. I know that sounds great. I like that. That's cool that you're all empowered about it. But this is the harsh reality, is that one day you might want to actually meet somebody and marry a guy. And the only guy you're going to be able to marry is some kind of cuckolded loser that wants his wife's tits all over the internet. Any person that has any self-respect for themselves would not be jamming dildos up their vagina. But what I'm saying is why this is bad for society is because now the ease of OnlyFans, any girl can be a content creator with their cell phone. And because of that, girls that would have never, ever gone into pornography, girls that would have actually got a normal job, might have actually tried to make a normal life for themselves and not be embarrassed or embarrass their family. Now they're like, oh, well, I can be an OnlyFans whore. But that's really what you are. You're a whore, because if you look at the messages that you get, it's always guys talking about sexual stuff. It's always guys trying to, I guess, talk to you so that they can ejaculate. So at this point, all you become is a vessel of masturbation for a human being. And I would argue that, hey, sex is good. None of us would be here without sex, but sex is something special. When you can pay $4.99 and you can see your vagina or your butthole on the internet, it makes your butthole not special. There's a thing, it's called supply and demand. If your vagina is in full supply on the internet, if anybody can Google it and find it, the demand for your vagina will be much less. And you're going to say, oh, well, no. I have all these guys that sign up. I make all this money. It's so self-empowering. Let me tell you something. Money is the root of all evil. People will do anything for money. So if you use money as your only inspiration, as the only thing that drives you in life, yes, it will lead you to a place where you're going to go and you're going to expose yourself. You're going to embarrass your family, because nobody wants their daughter to be an OnlyFans whore. Nobody. I mean, anybody, when they raise their little daughter up and they hold you in your little crib, there's not one dad in the world that says, oh, I hope this little baby girl, when she's 18, she starts spreading her butthole on the internet. Nobody would do that, because spreading your butthole on the internet is probably the worst thing that you could do for your self-esteem. In your mind, these OnlyFans women, they think, oh, well, this is good. I'm getting a lot of compliments. That should tell you that you're doing something wrong, right? Because you're not getting compliments because of something you've achieved or something that you've helped with society. What you're doing is you're making people more degenerate. And because there's so many OnlyFans, it's causing relationships to have issues, because men are joining people's OnlyFans. And what I think is really, really bad is for all the young girls that would not have gone into sex work. There's a lot of girls that actually have dreams and aspirations to do a lot more than to be an internet whore. But because it's so accessible, because it's so easy to do this, now girls always want to take the easy route. And I don't blame them for that. Life's hard. You got to pay your bills. But if you do a job that you're going to be embarrassed of, and I know I'm sure on the internet you say you're proud, but I just really cannot imagine a girl going up to their dad and being like, Dad, I made $11,000 on the internet, and all I had to do was jam stuff up my vagina and chat with random strangers and do whatever their fantasies desire. That's the problem, is that people, you think it's autonomy. You think that you have control over yourself when really you have no control. You're letting other guys control you. You're putting a dollar amount on your self-worth. And that's the problem, is that you're worth more than a dollar amount. And when we die, we leave a legacy here on earth. So you're very young, or a lot of OnlyFans models are very young, and there's older OnlyFans models. And I almost understand it for the old lady that's going into it because, they're out, they don't have any other job. They can't make a living. I can almost understand why it would be intoxicating for an old woman that had nothing else in life. But showing your vagina on the internet should be the last resort on having to make money. And the reason why that's bad for society is because it just encourages more of it. So it's going to make it harder for you to actually have fulfilling relationships later on in life if you're constantly doing sex work. And I'll tell you this much. If you look at the sex trafficking that's happening here in America, it's at the highest rate that it's ever been. In California now, they're having more people walk the street than they've ever had before. You have prostitution happening at an alarming rate with young children. So once again, I think it's the attack on young kids. So this is why OnlyFans is bad, because a lot of impressionable young women are turning to it because they don't know any better. And that's what I thought when I was young. I thought I knew everything. When I was 21, I thought I knew everything. I didn't care what people thought. But then you turn 30 and you're like, oh, what? You know what? Maybe I shouldn't have done that stuff in my past, because there's stuff I look back and I regret. I said, oh, man, I made the wrong decision there. And that's my whole point, I guess, with my opening statement, is that young women are making decisions that are going to affect them for the rest of their life. And it's going to cause them so much problems. And what they don't realize, it doesn't just affect you, Didley. It affects your cousins, your mother, your sister. They're not showing their buttholes on the internet, but you are attached to them. So now when people talk to them, oh my gosh, what is your daughter doing? Oh, well, my daughter's going to college. Oh, my daughter's working at an insurance company. What does your daughter do? Oh, well, my daughter spreads her vagina for $4.99 on the internet. So now you're causing massive embarrassment to your family. So for me, when we talk about the whole of society, if you really look at the direction we're going, we need less sex work. We need less sex trafficking. We need less pornography. And we need, I guess in an overall abundance, we need less sex workers. And you think, oh man, that's so empowering. I get paid to have sex. But I'm telling you, that only lasts so long unless people have some sort of weird fetish and they like, nasty older girls. I guess you could do it for the rest of your life. But just like anything, we're biological matter, and every minute, I hate to be like this, we're actually decaying. So you got to look at your self-worth and how much money you can make now. It's probably only going to get less and less and less, because the older you get, you're probably going to get less attractive. So in the long term, it's terrible for you. And then in the amateur porn business, they teach you this in the movie Girls. It's called Hot Girls One, that the average porn career for a girl is like 4 months. After 4 months, they're done with it because it's so terrible. Now, I don't know the average career for an OnlyFans model, but I can imagine that there's a lot of girls that do it and in their account. As a matter of fact, I've heard stories of girls doing it and in their account. So this is the reason why society doesn't need OnlyFans. We don't need it because we shouldn't have girls that are just selling themselves for pennies on the dollar. Girls are worth more than that. A woman is one of the most special beings there is. They can carry a baby. They have so much importance to society other than their vagina, other than simulating sex. So if you're going to continue to make your whole life about sex, it's going to be very bad. So I'm just very empathetic to a lot of the girls that have been bamboozled and tricked into showing their vagina on the internet just for a little bit of money, because a little bit of money only lasts so long. As a guy that has a little bit of money, I'm telling you, money doesn't make you happy. Biggie Smalls said it best: more money, more problems. And I've seen girls that didn't have a job, and now that they'll post their OnlyFans account that they're making $1 million. And you're like, oh, great, you're a millionaire. But at what cost? At what cost? What does your soul cost? What does your family cost? What is the embarrassment that you're going to cause for the rest of your life? How much does that cost? Because I promise you, $1 million is not going to last you the rest of your life. So for me, I would just argue, and that's what I'm going to continue to argue tonight. As a whole, OnlyFans encourages more young people to get into sex work, and it's a career that's not beneficial to them. It's a career that it probably hurts their self-esteem. It probably hurts their emotional connections to future husbands or boyfriends, and it embarrasses their families. So for all the daughters out there embarrassing their fathers, that sucks. I feel bad for all the dads out there. I feel bad for all the good moms out there that have to go to all their family gatherings or go to their work functions and say, you know what? My daughter shows her butthole on the internet. So that's why, for society as a whole, I don't think OnlyFans is very good at all. And, time will tell. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I am. but we will know with time.
All right, speaking of time, that was pretty good right there. So we're going to get it into our open discussion, everybody, but I do want to once again just inject with the quick housekeeping. You see the thermometer over here. That is a representation of our crowdfund, where you can get access to all kinds of great perks for the upcoming debate conference. So if you can't be in Dallas, you're living in a far off place, but you still want to support the event, you can get access to these signed emblems here. And just by going to our crowdfund in the event there. So you can get a signed picture of your favorite speaker or this signed emblem that you're seeing here on the right. So let's kick it into open discussion, everybody. And thank you again to our speakers for their introduction. We'll pass it back over to you, Didley, to respond to some of what you just heard. And I'm going to just advise the audience as well that we did say that there are no holds barred tonight. So let's get it going. Over to you, Didley.
Cool. Okay, so I wrote a lot of notes down because there was a lot there. And there was also a lot of misconceptions as well that I heard. But I'll pull you up on one thing initially because this is something like I've heard all those things before. All those arguments come up whenever I'm talking about OnlyFans online. One thing that consistently comes up that just irks me a little bit is the constant need to say, we're doing it for $4.99. We're doing it for pennies. We're doing it for this amount. But I mean, if you think that it's bad in general, why does the dollar amount matter? It's almost as if you're saying like, if they're making more money somehow, it's fine. Is that true? Like, do you believe that it's better if you're making more money from OnlyFans?
Well, let me give you an example. Didley, you're very young, but there used to be this magazine called Playboy Magazine. It was one of the most popular magazines. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but in Playboy Magazine, what they would do is they would pay millions and millions of dollars to have a celebrity show her boobs. And the reason why these boobs are so valuable, the reason why they were able to make $1 million for having one spread with their tits is because they didn't sell their boobs for $4.99. The problem is when you're doing it at such a cheap price, it shows you that you have no worth. You actually put a price on your worth. So that's why we talk about the price, because I would say that I think you're a beautiful young woman. I think that you're worth more than $5 a month to be fully exposed on the internet.
This is what I don't get. Like, people always say like you're worth more than $5 a month, but you realize with OnlyFans, it's like it's not $5. You're not worth $5 a month. Even if it's $5 times 5,000.
But even if it's $1 million, it's still not good. I'm just telling you. No,
okay, I just find it weird that people often emphasize the small amount of money as if
because that's all it costs. Okay, how much is your OnlyFans, Didley?
15.
So if I pay $15 and are you on their butt naked?
No.
You're not naked on your OnlyFans?
No.
What do you do?
So all that talk about like showing your butthole.
I know. So what do you do on OnlyFans? What do you do on OnlyFans?
I mostly do audio erotica. I specialize in ASMR. So I do not safe for work ASMR.
So you're not nude on any of your stuff?
I'm as close to nude as you can get without showing your butthole or nipples or vagina. So
okay, well,
does that change your argument at all?
No, not really, because you're still making these like ASMR videos. Like, so what do your parents think about your OnlyFans account?
What do they think of my account, or what do they think of me doing it? Because obviously they haven't seen my account.
Yeah, why hasn't your dad seen your account?
Why hasn't my dad seen my OnlyFans?
Why hasn't your dad seen your OnlyFans account?
He doesn't want to, nor do I want him to.
I know, because that's embarrassing, right? Isn't that so terrible? You don't want your dad to see.
We're both not really into incest.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it's bad.
That's not about embarrassment. That's about not being into incest.
Okay, well, just imagine working a job that you can't even show your dad what you're doing. Isn't that embarrassing? Is your dad proud that you're an OnlyFans model?
He's proud that I'm in a job that I enjoy and I make a lot of money doing it.
He really says that? You're being honest right now? Your parents are proud
100%.
of you?
Yeah, I'm really close with my mom and dad.
And they like that you're OnlyFans? Did they tell like your friends and family like, oh,
yeah, they like joke about it with their friends, like, oh,
they joke about
so much money. Yeah, she's making rent with a foot pick.
Well, I don't know anything about you, but I'm guessing your parents don't make very much money.
That's not true.
Or are your parents wealthy?
No.
So that's what I'm saying. Usually OnlyFans models, a lot of them come from, families that aren't very wealthy. So there are dads that are like, oh, well, we're doing so bad. Maybe we can use our daughter. That's called trafficking.
That doesn't happen.
Oh, you're telling me that nobody traffics their kids? That doesn't happen?
You think fathers are trafficking their
I would
adult
say,
daughters
yeah.
on OnlyFans?
Yeah, if your dad's talking with his friends about your OnlyFans account, telling them about it, and then getting them to sign up, your dad is sexually trafficking you, hon.
That's not
Yes.
what's happening.
That is okay. Does your dad talk to your friends about your OnlyFans account?
To my friends?
To his friends? Does he ever talk
No,
about you're sure your dad's never mentioned OnlyFans to any of his friends?
I don't know. Ask him.
Okay, what I'm saying is, and if we live in reality, I'm sure your dad and mom have interacted with somebody and told them that you have an OnlyFans. So what does that make somebody do? Oh, well, you know what? I kind of want to see Didley. I'd like to see his daughter. I'd like to see what she's doing. So indirectly, they're
No.
trafficking you by marketing your OnlyFans. So just think
They're
about
not
that.
marketing my OnlyFans. That's not a thing.
Yes, it is. If
They
your
don't even
parents,
know what. They don't even what. Do they have the
if your
link?
parents,
Do they have it written on a T-shirt while they walk
I think
around?
everybody would know how to use
Yeah.
Google. I think anybody could figure out.
Okay, what are they gonna look up?
If you type in Didley OnlyFans, I'm sure your
Why would they
account comes
type in?
up.
Why would a random friend type in Didley? Why would they know
Because
that
your
name?
dad was telling him, "Oh, my daughter's on OnlyFans. I'm so proud of her. I think it's
Do you think
awesome."
my dad is saying my daughter's on OnlyFans? Her name is Didley. What? That's just not
So
reality.
you're saying your
That's
dad
not
doesn't?
reality.
So that means your dad's embarrassed. He's too embarrassed to talk
No,
about
he's
what you're
not.
doing.
Those
So
are not
so
the only two options.
so your dad's not embarrassed, but he will not tell anybody that you have an OnlyFans.
He's not
Will not
going
tell
to
people.
promote my OnlyFans. No,
All right. So if we
that's
can,
ridiculous.
if we can try to move out of the personal conversation, I think we've explored this about as much as we can, and we usually try to
Yeah.
keep it a little
Yeah.
more broad. I don't mind you guys, doing as you please, but let's try to focus on the more broad picture of OnlyFans and not just specifically one profile. So let's
That's true.
let's get back
That's
to it.
true. But
Another point you made was that money shouldn't be the only thing that drives you. I agree with that. I think that the more you're just hoping for money and nothing else, that's your only driving factor, I think the more likely someone is to regret doing what I do, which is why I would advise against people doing it just for money. But that's the factor you didn't really consider. It sounded like you think in most cases or all cases, OnlyFans is a last resort that people do. They're desperate for money. But did you consider that people want to do OnlyFans? I want to do OnlyFans. I enjoy it.
so those are people that have a sexual fetish for voyeurism. So is that your case?
Exhibitionism.
Or exhibitionism, voyeurism, you like people to watch.
Yeah.
So then I mean, what are we talking about now? So you have OnlyFans models all have a weird sexual kink they want to be watched, and
I would say a lot of them do. A lot of people who are into exhibitionism would gravitate towards showing themselves off, would they not?
No, they wouldn't. That's why they have swingers clubs. There's all types of people that do that. I mean, I understand. Yeah. I mean, of course, there's some people that want it they want to be seen. But I think, let's just be real. That's not why people do it. I would say 99% of the people that join OnlyFans is for financial gain, because you can be a voyeur without paying, without having an OnlyFans. You don't have to have an OnlyFans. It's a way to monetize that. So I do think, I mean, we can argue about this, but you don't think money is a big driving force for people to sign up?
Oh, no, I'm saying 100% of it, of course, but it's not the only driving factor. And
I
like
agree.
I said,
I agree it's not the only one. I think it's the main one, though. I think it's a heavily main factor why people
but there's
would do.
nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with making money, but there's better ways to make money that are less embarrassing, that are going to have less of a stain on their future. Like, okay, perfect example. Didley, if you wanted to quit this, do you think that you could go get a job at a bank?
I wouldn't want to work at a bank.
I'm just saying, do you think you could get a
job?
Could
I get a job elsewhere? Yeah, 100%.
Like what? What kind of job?
I'll think about it if the time comes, won't I?
I mean, I guess you could be a waitress. Not that I'm hating on waitresses. I'm sure
I
a
mean, I
restaurant
have
would
a
hire you.
degree up my sleeve if I ever want to pursue that. So.
And you think you're going to be able to use a degree now that you're butt naked on the internet?
Yeah, why wouldn't I?
Because I think that any employer would say, "Oh my gosh, this employee, this is unbecoming of a nice woman." It's like, there is a thing you have to admit, though. There's a thing called being classy, and there's a thing called being trashy. Would you say it's classy to be in a thong and have your nipples barely covered, or would you say that it is more trashy?
I don't really use those descriptors. I think it's sexy.
But is it classy? Like, is it classy? Would you want your daughter to? Would you want if you have a daughter?
Classy? Are you classy?
No, I know I'm a pimp on a blimp. I am classy, but I'm more classy than
So is what you
owner.
do detrimental to society? Then you're not. class
Well,
of
yes, what
discussion.
I do, I hope I'm detrimental to society, honestly, because I'm totally different. What I'm trying to do is I'm a cultural jammer. I try to freaking expose all the hypocrisy in the world. So, yeah, I do want to be a detriment to society. I want society to
So
fear
you
me because,
basically like have no morals then, because you
no, I have
admit that
morals.
your job is a detriment to society, but you're still going to do it.
No, I have morals. What I'm saying is we live in a society that's wrong with OnlyFans models of young girls. We live in a system where the government constantly lies to us. So the system that is built right now that encourages young kids to become porn stars, yeah, I want to break that
Wait,
system up. I
young
want to
kids?
disrupt it. Yeah, 18-year-olds is a kid, in my opinion. I think 18, you're
Okay.
still a teenager. Is an 18-year-old a teenager?
Well, yes,
Is a
18.
19-year-old a teenager? Can they be on OnlyFans?
Yes, they can
Yeah,
at
so
18.
teenagers are on OnlyFans. I consider teenagers kids, but I mean, I'm a lot older than you. So that's why I would say that there's kids on OnlyFans. Are they under 18? No, but I would say 18 is very young. I would say 19 is very young, basically a child.
Okay.
And if the debate is like, is it good for society? I mean, overall, it's terrible because the amount of girls that wouldn't have gotten to sex work if OnlyFans didn't exist, there'd be a lot less women in sex work. Like, do you think sex work is a good business? Do you think that's a good job?
So what's the next step from there? Do you want to ban pornography?
I mean, I wouldn't mind it. I mean, I would, or limit it or make it more controlled. I mean, listen, I like freedom of speech. I like the First Amendment more than anybody, but it's so weird how the First Amendment, you can just literally hold a camera and you can just pay a girl on camera and have sex with her. But if you go and you try to not do it on camera, if you go and pay a woman on the street, that's a crime. That's called prostitution. So for me, that's a terrible loophole because it's the same thing. Me holding a camera and paying you money for it, somehow that's legal. But if I don't use the camera and I just pay you, now that's prostitution. So that's the system that's messed up that I don't like, that I think is
Yes,
crooked.
we should legalize escorting and those kinds of services.
Well, that would only increase, child sex trafficking. It would get more kids involved. Like, do
I mean,
you
you know that the countries that have like the highest prevalence of sex trafficking are countries where porn is illegal.
Okay, but what does that have to do with what I'm saying? I'm just saying it's not good for society. I mean, there's still sex trafficking where porn is legal. Would you agree?
Yes, but there's more where it's illegal.
Okay, so you're saying OnlyFans stop sex trafficking by making it legal? That's my point.
No, not at all.
I'm
But
saying
if your
holding
point is that we should ban porn to reduce sex trafficking, that makes no sense because
my
in
point is that
countries-
I'm saying porn is technically illegal. The only thing that makes it legal is that you film it. If I wanted to pay a person for sex without
porn
a
is
camera,
technically illegal. What do you mean?
if I was to pay a person for sex without a camera, that is a crime. That's called prostitution. Prostitution is not legal in the United States. I don't know if it's legal in Australia, but it's not legal in the United States. But if I get a girl to sign a waiver and I film it, now that is illegal. So in my mind, because I'm based in reality, just because they're holding a camera, it's still prostitution. So by the code of the law,
I mean, I agree.
my
That
opinion,
doesn't make
it's
sense. We should legalize prostitution.
or we should stop prostitution and stop sex work totally. That's what we should do. It's not a good
So,
business. It's not
do you
fruitful.
consider yourself a libertarian?
I do. I do consider myself a libertarian.
So how is that consistent?
Well,
with
I mean, some of my
libertarianism?
views, I believe that we should have socialized medicine. So that's not very libertarian. I mean,
But you
I
want to
think
ban people from whacking it to buttholes if they want to?
there should be less of it. Yeah, I think there should be
You
less
think that,
accessible.
but that's different. You think there should be less, fine. But you're saying you want to ban it, are you not?
Well, I'm saying we should hold the same standards that we hold a prostitute to. If that's illegal, then porn should be illegal, is my point. I think it's very hypocritical that because I'm holding a camera, all of a sudden now it's legal. So I would say
Why,
that
as a libertarian, would you want to then ban it rather than just making it all
well,
legal?
first of all, you're trying to like label me as libertarian. I'm much more
You
than
said
just
you
a
were.
I
asked
have
you
libertarian views, yes, of course, but I have socialistic views. If I want socialized medicine, I have conservative views. So I'm not just in a box. I would say I'm a populist more than anything. So I think that if you look at society as a whole, is OnlyFans helping society? No, I think it's poisoning society. It's poisoning the youth, and it's making kids.
And some of the examples you
worse.
brought up,
Mhm.
for example, was sex trafficking, even though we've established that it's higher in
I don't know if
countries
that's
than
true, but I think sex
porn. On
trafficking
top of
exists.
that,
But real quick, what about all the OnlyFans pimps? You've heard of OnlyFans pimps, right?
yeah,
Okay, so that's sex trafficking. That's digital
Mhm.
sex trafficking. So these guys that take vulnerable girls and then create their account for them, that is a form of sex trafficking. I'm against sex trafficking. It sounds like you're
So
pro
am
sex.
I. Absolutely
Then
not.
why is it okay with all the OnlyFans pimps that pimp out these girls that have
It's
multiple
not
girls?
okay. When did I say that was okay?
Perfect example. Andrew Tate. You might think I'm a huge Andrew Tate fan. Well, he's getting in trouble because technically they're saying that he's a sex trafficker. I don't know if that's true, but I'm saying the reason why they're saying he's a sex trafficker is because he has multiple girls in their house. He'll take their passport, he'll make it where they can't leave, and he forces them to go on these sites, these cam sites, and expose themselves. So that's why I think it's bad, because it opens up more avenues for people like that to traffic girls digitally. I'm not saying that in countries with less porn that there's, not more sex trafficking. I'm not trying to argue that. I'm saying sex trafficking is bad everywhere. I don't want sex trafficking to exist. For society, we need less sex trafficking.
I know. My point was that banning porn isn't going to result in less sex trafficking, which was the point you were trying to make.
No, I don't know if that's true. I think if we banned porn, there probably would be. You're telling me where is porn banned in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, mostly the Middle
That's
East.
what I'm saying. So you're telling me there's a ton of sex trafficking in the Middle East?
Yeah,
Is there more sex trafficking in the Middle East than in America?
absolutely.
I don't know if that's true. We're gonna have to hear stats, but it's either here nor there. Sex trafficking is bad, so it's still happening with OnlyFans models. Whether it's happening in Saudi Arabia, there's people that are using vulnerable girls and exposing them by either making them do this or lying to them, gaslighting them, telling them it's going to be good for their life, it's going to be a good career, when in reality it's not. So that's why I don't like it.
Sex trafficking is bad. I'm glad we can both agree on that.
So OnlyFans only encourages more people to sex traffic.
That is not true.
How is that not true? There's people that get sex trafficked on OnlyFans, Didley. You know that.
Okay, sex trafficking exists. Yes, banning porn, banning OnlyFans is not going to mitigate that at all.
It might reduce it a little bit. I think it would. It would reduce all the people that are OnlyFans doing it.
We've already established that countries that ban porn have higher sex trafficking. Yes.
I'm saying here, let's just use Australia and America. We need less sex trafficking here. So you can say Saudi Arabia.
No sex trafficking, actually.
I agree, but OnlyFans only encourages more sex trafficking.
I don't think you have any evidence to back that up.
I do, because I know people that pimp out girls on OnlyFans. That's been exposed.
And that would be happening with or without OnlyFans.
No, OnlyFans makes it easier because now there's a platform that everybody can sign up for.
Do you have a source that says that OnlyFans has increased sex trafficking?
I don't need to have a source. I'm based in reality. There's more girls. What I'm saying is, because we're based in reality, now that OnlyFans exists, there's more girls showing themselves being naked, more girls setting themselves up to be sex trafficked. That's like, I mean, we can debate that, but that's what's happening. Now that there's an avenue where guys can take vulnerable women and show them on the internet, that's only going to increase the amount of girls that get trafficked sexually.
Okay, well, we don't see any evidence of that. So let's move on. One thing I wanted to pick you up on as well was you brought up kids committing suicide because they were bullied in school because their mum did OnlyFans.
Yes.
Was that from the Reddit story that was proven fake?
There's multiple stories of that. There's multiple stories
and they
of that.
Almost always come from Reddit.
Oh, so you're telling me there's no kid that's ever committed suicide because their mom was on OnlyFans? Is that what you're trying to say?
I have actually done, sadly, hours of research into this, because this is the point that people bring up to me the most. Your kid's going to get bullied, blah, blah, blah.
Your kid is going to get bullied.
I have scoured the internet for every news story I can find on this. The vast majority of them stem from 2 fake Reddit stories, which sounds like the one you're bringing up because it was a kid that committed suicide. That comes from a fake Reddit story.
I don't know if that story's fake. I don't know if that story's fake, but even let's just say they don't commit suicide. Think about how embarrassing that is. You don't think you would be embarrassed if your mom was on OnlyFans while you're in school?
Why would I care what my mom does with her vagina?
Because that's your mother. She's a representation of you. She's your family. You don't think that's embarrassing? You really, I mean, listen, you really don't think that would be embarrassing if all of your friends could see your mom naked for $4.99 on the internet? You don't think that would be embarrassing?
If they were like bullying you and showing you videos of your mom,
and you don't think that's ever happened?
That would be embarrassing.
Oh, wait, real quick, Didley. You're telling me no kid in any school has showed a OnlyFans model's son or daughter their OnlyFans? You're saying that's never happened?
I'm telling you, I've looked into this. I could find one article where it actually happened. And
I think
in that case,
it happened in that article, so you admit that it happened. Case, see, it's called loser denials, what you're in, and I mean, that's what it is. You're just in denial.
Let me finish. In
Okay.
that one case that I could find out amongst all the fake stories, the
Mhm.
one kid that was bullied didn't even care. They shrugged it off, and
Is
it was
that
a
what?
girl.
Okay, and that
They
you
shrugged it
believe
off.
that you believe is no big deal that
But
everybody
you
at this
believe the
school.
fake Reddit stories about kids
I don't know
committing
if that story's
suicide?
fake. I think there's a lot of kids that are very embarrassed by their mom's OnlyFans. Yes,
This isn't a thing that's happening.
it
Like,
is Didley. There
people
are
online
kids
think that
that.
this is happening every day at such a large,
Do you
massive
know who
scale. It's
Aiden
just
Ross
not.
is? Do you know who Aiden Ross is?
Yes.
Do you know Aiden Ross's sister's on OnlyFans?
I don't know who his sister is.
Well, his sister's on OnlyFans, and there's lots of streams where people, while he's streaming, they will trick Aiden Ross into opening up a video of his sister's OnlyFans. And every time that happens, he's incredibly embarrassed. He's sick about it. He immediately shuts it down because it's impossible for you not to be ashamed if one of your family members is self-worth is so low that they're selling their body on the internet. It's sex work. Nobody wants to do sex work.
But that isn't a problem with OnlyFans. That's a problem with sex work stigma
But
perpetuated
OnlyFans,
by society.
would you agree that OnlyFans creates more sex workers?
Yes.
Okay. So I mean, there you go.
What do you
So
mean there you go?
well, if OnlyFans creates more sex workers and then more people are embarrassed because their family members are a sex worker, that would be bad for society. We shouldn't have to be embarrassed about the people we love the most. And like that's the other thing is like your family members, they're going to be with you no matter what. Like your parents aren't going to disown you because they love you so much, but that doesn't mean they're proud. That doesn't mean they're happy.
But again, like this isn't a problem with OnlyFans. This is a problem with stigma perpetuated by society.
Yeah, I know that's a terrible stigma. A sex worker stigma lives you. It's called the crime of moral turpitude. You're basically an internet prostitute, and like being prostitution's bad. I mean, do you think prostitution's good?
I don't think it's bad.
You
I
don't
think
think you don't think being a prostitute is bad?
I think people being able to do what they want, even if that includes prostitution, is a good thing.
What about like heroin? You think heroin should be legal?
I think it should be legal. I'm all for legalizing drugs.
Do you think that would be good for society?
Yes.
Okay, see
We know
that's
that it's good for society.
if heroin is legal, we've had more
No, we
fentanyl
know that
overdoses.
legalizing drugs or decriminalizing drugs is good for society.
That's false. Where are you getting those numbers? How would decriminalizing
Feel
drugs?
free to Google.
It's the same thing. It's like you're decriminalizing porn, but really
It
and
makes it
truly,
safer. So it literally reduces harm.
that's not true. All you have to do is go to any safe injection site in Philadelphia or San Francisco. All of the surrounding businesses say it's terrible, that it only increases crime, it only increases more people overdosing. So I would argue that drugs are bad, but you say drugs are good, but this is coming from a person that
I say
literally sells.
legalizing drugs is good. I'm not saying drugs are good.
All right,
But
back to the
I'm just
OnlyFans.
okay, so back to the
Yes.
OnlyFans. Well, it does connect to prostitution because prostitution's bad. And I mean, I guess you say prostitution's good, but I guess a prostitute would have to say that, right?
Sure.
I mean, could a prostitute say, or do you think there's any prostitutes that hate being a prostitute?
Yeah.
But maybe
I
they
don't
were
hate
encouraged.
doing OnlyFans, so it's not really relevant.
Do you think there's anybody that does OnlyFans? Like we said, we talked about earlier, the trafficking. There's people doing OnlyFans outside of their control. Don't you think there's people being manipulated
I
to
think
do it?
we've already established sex trafficking.
That's what I'm saying. So that's
Right.
bad. So if OnlyFans encourages sex trafficking, that's bad for
We
society.
haven't established that it does, though. You had no sources on that.
I'm saying the girls that are on there showing their buttholes for $5.99 is bad for society because they are either trafficking themselves or they're being trafficked by
What do
somebody.
you mean trafficking themselves? What does
Like
that mean?
you're being a prostitute, even if you're the pimp and the prostitute, I'm a pimp myself. I'm a pimp on a blimp. You're trafficking yourself. So you're a sex trafficker,
What
Didley.
does that mean?
You're selling your
Can
vagina
you define
online.
trafficking? I don't
Trafficking
follow.
is making it available to massive amounts of people, spreading it, going from one country, Australia. Now any country can see your
But you
butthole.
would
So
think
now,
consent is the major factor in defining trafficking, wouldn't you?
well, I mean, honestly, I don't even know if you have. What have you consented to? I mean, you've consented to
To
showing.
doing OnlyFans.
Yes, but don't you get people like send you messages all the time that want you to do more stuff, and then do you answer those
And I
DMs?
don't.
You don't do that. But would you say most women do respond to the messages and do the stuff? Like there was a guy, I read a story that he wanted and he paid a girl to put peanut butter in her vagina and have a dog lick it out. Do you think that's good for
That wouldn't
society?
be allowed on OnlyFans.
Is that good for society?
Bestiality? No,
Yeah.
probably not.
And
What
so
does that have to do with OnlyFans?
because OnlyFans is a platform where more people can encourage other people to commit bestiality. Without OnlyFans, yes. Why does that? I love how you're laughing about that, but there's people that are sexual perverts that are
That
on
is,
there that are
I'm
calling
sorry,
you.
that's just so ridiculous.
That's true. You're telling me that you don't think there's people on OnlyFans that have bestiality fetishes?
Oh my God. I
Think about all the weird sexual fetishes there are, Didley. There's a lot of weird
looking
kinks.
at you, I would think you're more likely to have a bestiality fetish.
Well, I know I can look at you and see your butthole for $4.99, so you can say whatever you want
No,
about
we
me.
can't.
You're the
We
prostitute,
can't.
not me, Didley. I mean, you can say whatever you want. You're the whore, not me. So I know that's cute. I know that's really awesome,
Oh,
but I'm not the whore. I mean, you could say I'm into bestiality, but you're the one that gets messages from guys probably begging you to do very disgusting things. And you can say, oh, I don't answer it. But you know, there's tons of guys sending tons of girls messages, asking them and encouraging with money to do stuff that they wouldn't even think of consciously. But they
my
get these
YouTube
ideas.
my YouTube comment section is more disgusting than my OnlyFans DMs. Does that mean YouTube is detrimental to society?
Yes, honestly, social media, I think, is
Why
detrimental
are
to
you on
society.
YouTube then? Get off. Follow your moral system.
No, I'm going to be on YouTube because I want to,
So
expose
you're
people
going to
like
be
you.
immoral. You're not going to like abide by your own
You can
moral
say I'm
system that you're
immoral.
putting onto me now.
You can say I'm
You're
immoral, but
telling me to follow
I'm
your
not.
moral system, but you can't even follow
I no,
yourself. What does that
no,
mean?
you don't have to follow my system. I'm just saying what you're doing is bad for society. That's what we're here to debate. Is you're only encouraging society to be
But you're
terrible.
also saying
You can
what
say
I'm
I'm
doing is
doing the
bad
same
for
thing.
Just one
society,
second. Let's
therefore
let
I
her
should
wrap up her
stop.
point there.
No, I didn't tell you to stop. You keep doing it. I don't think you have any other career choices. I don't think you're talented enough to
You
actually.
literally just said earlier you would like to ban pornography. What?
I would, but I'm saying I just from this debate, I can tell that you're probably not smart enough to actually have a real job. That's why you have to like talk about sexual stuff and be a whore on the internet because you're not
That's quite
talented
ironic
enough.
coming from a failed comedian.
How am I a failed comedian? I got a show on the Blaze. I'm a pimp on a blimp. I sell out shows all the time. How am I failed?
Is yours a real job?
Yeah, I make a lot of money. Yes, I
How is
work for a
being a
company
YouTuber more of a real job than a YouTuber who does OnlyFans?
because you're selling yourself on the internet for $5.99. Like I mean, it's
And you're selling
disgusting.
yourself for what? How much is Blaze paying you?
Yeah, but I don't stick a dildo in my vagina. I don't have to say
Neither do I.
sexual stuff.
All right.
What I'm saying, we're talking about overall, like you want to take pot shots with me. I don't care. I deal with prostitutes like you all the time. Like I said, I'm a pimp. I mean, it's funny. The prostitute wants to get fresh, but you're in loser denial. Like your parents are ashamed of your job. You're
No,
not
no.
proud of your job. What do your classmates say
Yeah.
about your job, Didley?
My
right.
classmates.
We're talking
like
once
your
again
kids,
about.
no.
Sorry to cut you off, but we are
No, I'm
talking
saying like
once
the
again
people you
about.
went to school with. Like, are you proud of your reunion? Are you going to go to your
They think it's
reunion?
awesome.
Just one second.
They think
there.
it's awesome. You believe
Yeah.
that? Oh my
They
gosh!
tell me that, yeah.
All right, I don't want to
Yeah,
put anybody
because-
on mute. Just to hold on a second. I don't want to put anybody on mute, but once again, we are focusing specifically on one account. So I know you said that you had a list there that you took at the beginning there, Didley. So if you had a couple more that you wanted to get into before we go into our Q&A, we can probably have a little bit like 10 to 15 more minutes of open dialogue if you guys are comfortable with that. Yep, shaking your head. Good. So, yeah, if you want to go down one of those other things that you had highlighted there, Didley, we'll try to get back onto the broader subject here.
Okay, let's see. Okay, well, you keep bringing up I'm causing massive embarrassment to my family. That's not true. Massive embarrassment to my peers. Not true. None of that is relevant to me. You also brought up that we need less sex work. So I'm wondering, shouldn't you want OnlyFans then, considering OnlyFans allows sex workers to quit IRL sex work so they can pursue online only sex work?
Digital sex work is just as bad as IRL sex work. You're still doing IRL sex work. You're still filming it. You're doing it in real life and filming it. So
well, it's not
still
just as
sex
bad.
work.
We know that it's safer and more ethical.
I don't think that it's safer or ethical. You're just
How
saying
is it
that. I
not?
don't agree with that. I don't think it's safer at all. One bit, because you're making yourself open up to a whole
You
new.
don't think that doing OnlyFans in front of a camera in the privacy and safety of your own room is less safe than going to a brothel or going out on the street having sex with strangers for money?
Didley, have you not heard of OnlyFans models getting doxxed and guys coming to their house and doing weird
Do you
stuff?
think being murdered on the streets or raped is the same level as being doxxed?
I'm saying I think there's OnlyFans models that have probably been raped before. So I'm just saying overall, we're talking about
You can't
the
get raped
effect on.
while you're at work on OnlyFans. You're in front of a camera.
Well, you're kind of raping yourself, but yeah, I mean,
You're
uh,
raping yourself. What
in a
does that
way,
even
you're
mean?
raping yourself. You're selling yourself for money. Like you're raping yourself. Yeah,
All right.
It's
that's what that
Let's
means.
try
consensual.
not to get us demon there,
Okay.
guys. I think that was like 6 or 7 times you guys just said
Yeah.
that word, but let's carry on.
But I'm just saying, overall, we're talking about society. I get it. Your life's perfect. You're an OnlyFans model, and your life is so great. And I'm just a guy
Mhm.
that has a show on Blaze TV, and I don't know anything. So I get it. But I'm saying there's going to be a time and place where you're going to be very embarrassed. I don't know what your relationship is, but if you're with a guy, he's obviously a cuckold. So are you in a
I'm
relationship?
actually the cuck.
So do you let your boyfriend sleep with other girls?
I think it's hot.
Yeah, see, that shows you that you're a whore and you're disgusting. That's not a monogamous
That's base
relationship.
then. That's
That's
base.
not base. If you're letting
Yeah.
your boyfriend bang other girls, that's pathetic. That's
But that
sad.
should be within my right, right?
I guess you can do whatever you want. I'm just saying that's disgusting that your boyfriend's a cuckold. Do you sleep with other guys? Do you have an open relationship? Can you bang other guys?
I mean, I would say I'm non-monogamous, but
So non-monogamous. So think about that. So you're with a cuckold. That's terrible. I can
no,
guarantee
I
you,
already said I'm the cuck. Like
you're
I'm
both
also
cucks. You're both cucks. You're both being cuckolded if you're cheating on each other and you have
okay.
an open marriage. So that's bad. That's not going to be, I can
Why? Why is that
guarantee,
bad?
because that relationship that you have with that guy is going to end up being terrible. I'm just telling you, it's going to end up
How
very
do you know?
bad.
Are you in a relationship?
I am in a relationship, and I'll tell you this
How
much:
long have you been
I
together?
would never share my girlfriend with anybody. That's the
Yeah,
last
no,
thing
that's fine.
I would
But how
ever
long have
do.
you been together?
A long time, a very long time, and I under no circumstance, no amount of money, no amount of
I'm
cuckold
not saying you
fantasies
need to. I'm not
would I ever
recommending this
let.
lifestyle to you. What are you
I know
going on
the
about?
reason why, because it's a terrible lifestyle. Like you're coping, you're in loser denial. You're trying to say this is a good
No,
lifestyle, but you're probably in a
it's
monogamy
a good lifestyle for me. It might not be a
because
good
you're a
lifestyle
whore.
for other
Because you're
people.
a whore. Because you need to get
And
laid a
that's
bunch.
base. I
That's
love
not
it.
most people shouldn't be just getting banged by random dudes while simultaneously being in a relationship. The point of being in a
But
relationship
this brings
is
us
having
all the
monogamy.
way back to the crux of the argument, which is that people should be allowed to do what they want, shouldn't they? As long as they're not causing harm to anyone.
No, you are causing harm to people. You're causing harm to your family. You're causing harm to
No,
yourself. You're
I've already
causing harm to
established
your
I'm not.
future.
I don't know
Well,
why
there
you're
are
not
people
hearing
that
me.
are.
My
There are people,
family is very supportive. I don't have conservative parents, thank
but
fuck.
not all. Would you say every parent is proud of their OnlyFans daughter, or would you say the majority of parents would be
No,
embarrassed by it?
I don't know. It
They'd be
doesn't change the
embarrassed.
fact that
So that's bad for society. If the
that's
majority of
still a
women are embarrassing their parents, that's bad for society.
okay, but you
Parents want to be
understand like
proud of their
a
daughter.
societal stigma does not mean the act itself is wrong. Like think about how we viewed tattoos just decades ago. Anyone with a tattoo is trashy. You're not going to be able to get a job later on in life. Look a few decades down the line now, and it hardly affects your job prosperities. And everyone has almost like what is it, 30% of people have tattoos now?
Yeah, well, being a whore and having a tattoo are two different things for society.
Oh, well, obviously, that's why I'm using a comparison. That's what comparisons are for. I'm comparing two different things.
Well, I would just say by this conversation alone, I don't think you're as proud to be an OnlyFans whore as you're acting. I think that you're seriously coping with this, and I think that your family's probably coping, and I think that that would be extrapolated to most OnlyFans models that
Yeah,
your
people
own.
say that a lot because that's the only way that you can accept your own argument because you can't accept the reality that I'm happy with what I do
Well, you're
because that
so
would mean
happy, but
admitting that you're wrong.
your husband or your boyfriend can't sexually please you. You have to go and bang, multiple guys. So you probably this is and this is probably personal, and I don't know this, Didley, but were you ever the victim of any sexual trauma as a child?
No.
Okay. Well, a lot of girls that go into prostitution were the victims of, being sexually molested. A lot of girls tell you that in porn. So I think that's really bad is that girls that were molested,
Mhm.
I'm very anti-molestation. They end up having to go into
Oh,
this
okay,
work
I would
because they
hope
have
so.
such low worth. What?
One thing I just can't wrap my head around is
Mhm.
that you claim OnlyFans is bad for society. You
Mhm.
want to ban porn. You also think what you do for work is bad for society, but
Mhm.
yet you continue to do what you're doing. You're telling me I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. You're
I'm trying to
saying,
fix society. I think society is already
so
bad.
why don't you delete your YouTube channel?
Because having a YouTube channel and OnlyFans are totally different things. Can you show your butthole on YouTube? No, there's a terms of
It
service.
doesn't matter. You already admitted that what you do is detrimental to society, is a net negative for society. Why
No,
are you still
I
doing
didn't
it?
say I'm a net negative. I'm a net positive, but I'm a disruptor. I think the society we live in is messed up. So I try to call it out. That's why I come on here and I try to call out you, because I think you're better than being a sex worker. But after talking to you,
What
I
does that
realized
mean?
that's probably
What does
your
that
only
mean?
talent is you're saying what I do is I go out and I call out politicians because I think that politicians lie to us. I go to drag queen story times for children and try to shut them down. I don't think drag queens should be reading to children. So for society, the mainstream media will call me alt-right and then I'm bad. But no, I'm actually calling out the hypocrisy of the world we live in. Perfect example, a video that went viral this weekend of mine, got, I think it's at 2.6 million views. It's called Queers for Palestine. I like to call out the fact that there's actually queer people that are on the side of Hamas. Yet if they were in the Middle East, they would literally get thrown off a building. That's the society we live in. I try to expose stuff like that while you go on the internet and literally talk nasty into a microphone for $15 a month. We're not
And
the
the
same.
reality is the people want that. The world
A few
wants
people, and
to
people want what
choke
I do
the
too.
chicken
People
to
want what I do
pornography.
too. Yeah, I know. And that's
Yes,
pathetic and
and
sad that
I'm
you're a
not saying
prostitute.
your content should be
No.
banned. I think
I'm
both
saying
should
yours
exist because
should,
it's what the
because
people want, right?
our content is not the same. They're
I don't think
vastly
that you're
different.
making a very consistent argument, though.
The consistency of my argument is not important. What's important is this good for society? You're trying to compare apples and oranges.
Being
YouTube
consistent isn't important.
because you're trying to compare YouTube and OnlyFans. That's comparing apples and oranges. So you're talking about consistency. You're comparing two things that are vastly different. That's
Yes,
the
do you
point
know
I'm
what a
trying to make.
comparison is?
Yeah, I understand,
A
but YouTube and
comparison
OnlyFans
literally
are
is
not the
comparing
same.
two things that are different and drawing similarities. You
Oh, I'm
understand
very
that, right?
familiar with what a
It
comparison
didn't
is.
seem like you were.
If you're comparing, you're trying to say, do you really think YouTube's the same as OnlyFans?
No.
Okay. So which do
Do
you
you
think?
understand the point I'm trying to make?
So you're trying to say that I'm immoral because I have a YouTube channel. I'm saying you're immoral because you show your naked body on the internet for $15. It's not the same.
Okay, do you
That's the
understand why I
argument.
was making that comparison though? You were saying that
You're
doing
saying that
YouTube,
I'm
that kind of
allowed
thing
to
was
do
a
YouTube. So you're trying to say,
detrimental to society.
well, I would argue that social media is detrimental to society, but that doesn't mean
Then
I'm
why
going to
don't
get
you get
off
off
it
social media? Why?
because I make a living on social media, just like you make a living being a
Yes, because
whore.
you're morally inconsistent and you don't uphold your own values. But you expect me to. That's
No,
the
you don't
problem.
have to hold my values. You're allowed to do whatever you want. The debate is whether it's good for society. What you're doing is worse in society
You
than
keep
being a
saying I'm
YouTuber.
allowed to do whatever I want, but at the same time you're saying you would want pornography to be banned. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because I would want more for you. I don't think that you're just a $15 a month whore. I think you're more than that, but you don't. That's the difference.
I do. Do you think all I do is OnlyFans?
I think that's your main source of income.
But do you think all I do is OnlyFans?
Okay, well, I mean, I don't know, maybe you garden or whatever, but it doesn't matter. You're always going to remember it as the OnlyFans whore. Your friends in school, your parents, you will never get rid of the social stigma of being a prostitute. I promise you that. I know you might not believe me, but you'll
again,
never break that
this
social
brings
stigma.
me back to my point that this isn't a problem with OnlyFans itself. That's a social stigma, which is the problem.
Well,
As
being
I
a
said again,
prostitute is bad.
tattoos
Well,
were
being-
exactly
I
like
think
that.
being a prostitute is worse than getting a tattoo. So
Okay, again with the comparison thing, you're not getting it. It's two different things, yes, but I'm drawing similarities.
well, I don't think they're that similar. I don't think they're that similar. I think being a
I'm
prostitute is
drawing
the lowest
similarities
form,
to
the
the
lowest
social
form of
stigma
work.
that existed 20 years ago with tattoos, where people were told, don't get any tattoos, you won't get any jobs, no one will want to hire you, they're hideous, you'll regret it. But now, 20 years later, everyone loves tattoos. They're beautiful. 30% of people have tattoos, and it doesn't matter. People are still going to hire you.
Well, it does matter. If somebody has a face tattoo, they're gonna have trouble getting a job.
Yeah,
So
okay,
there
sure.
are
But they would say
there are
about any
tattoos that
tattoos.
a face
You can
tattoo
agree that the
would-
social stigma has decreased over time.
Yeah, but I would say the social stigma is only going to increase with sex work. So they're different.
Well,
Tattoos and
that's
sex work
definitely
are
not
different.
true. But do you see the point I'm making is that a social stigma existing in itself does not mean the thing is bad for society.
Yes, it is. I would say tattoos are bad for society.
Okay, why is that?
Well, because if you get an unlicensed tattoo, you can get infected, and people will change their
Unlicensed?
mind.
Okay, what about
Well,
licensed tattoos? What?
Well, I'm saying that there's a reason there's a huge business in tattoo removal. So if tattoo removal wasn't such a big business, why is it, why is everybody getting them removed if they love them so much?
Because people don't want it anymore. That doesn't mean
Because they don't
tattoos are
want the
bad.
social stigma of the tattoo anymore. See, you're never going to be able
No,
to get
it's
your
more to do with they don't
You're
like
never,
the
this is the thing
art.
is, sadly, you're never going to be able to get your prostitution removed from the internet. There's always going to be pictures of you in these vulnerable sexual
Mm-hmm.
positions. There's always going
And
to
I've
be
already
videos.
weighed up that risk.
And what is the risk? What was the risk? Tell us what the weigh was. What did you weigh?
Well, this whole argument pretty much has been about maximizing happiness whilst reducing risk. Weighing up, is this
Come on,
worth
Didley, you're not
the
happy. You're
pros
not
outweigh the
happy
cons?
doing OnlyFans. Let's just be
Of
real. I
course
know
I am. I love it. It's literally my dream job.
that's pathetic. That was your dream as a little girl when you were in elementary school. You said,
No,
"Oh, I want
of
to be a
course not. What?
prostitute.
That
I
job
want to
didn't
be
even exist.
I want to be a prostitute when I grow up." Okay, even when you're an adult, that was your dream. Your dream is to be a prostitute.
My dream was to share myself sexually with the world. Yes, I'm an
So that's be a
exhibitionist.
prostitute. That's the saddest. I feel sorry for you. Now I'm empathetic to you. Now I feel
Why?
really bad because I think you should have better dreams than that. I mean, you should dream
I'm
to.
speaking to a Michael Jackson with a green screen and white cast all over his face telling me that I should be doing more.
Well, I can Google you and I could pull up naked pictures of you and show you on this stream. There's nothing more embarrassing than that. Or you talking nasty into a mic. Oh, I want to lick it. I want to. That's way more embarrassing. I'm telling you. And it's very
I'm not
embarrassing that,
embarrassed by it though. What?
well, your family's embarrassed for you.
You're not embarrassed by the content you do, right?
No, not at all.
So you can understand why I'm not
No,
embarrassed
I
by my
can't.
content.
I can't because I'm not a prostitute. So once again, we're comparing apples and oranges.
All
I'm
right.
a comedian. You're a prostitute. They're
You
not
don't
the
think
same.
there's any reality where I can be happy with the work I'm doing?
Not long term. No, no.
All right.
That's crazy.
If we had another point you wanted to go down, maybe like for 5 minutes, or we can go into the Q&A. It's up to you, fellas.
Oh yes, another point you made, which was just horrible. Showing your butthole is the worst thing you can do for your self-esteem. That was something you said.
Yes.
I think the opposite is actually true. Women who do OnlyFans, it literally increases their self-esteem.
By being judged on your body? I mean, what about you don't want to be judged for your
By
brains, for being smart?
sexually liberated, sharing themselves, and
When you say
people
sexually
loving
liberated,
what
that
they
means
see.
being a nasty whore on the internet. Let's just be real. So you
Based.
think that's not base. You should want to be proud of something you do with your mind, your body, your spirit, like something positive, not the fact that you spread your legs. Like that's not. Would you want your daughter to be an OnlyFans model?
I would want her to be happy, healthy, and preferably wealthy.
So you would want your daughter to go into OnlyFans?
If that was what she wanted to do, I'd support her.
Gosh, I mean, I can tell you had very bad parents if you're an OnlyFans, and you're probably going
No,
to be a
not at
terrible
all.
parent.
I'm really close with
That
my
you
parents
couldn't
and
do
get along.
more in life besides being a prostitute.
I
That's
could do
sad.
more in life.
Well,
I could do any other
not
job.
anymore. Now you can't. You realize how many doors
I
close
don't
now?
need to.
You realize how many doors have closed now because you're a prostitute?
Do you think I care if doors are closed when I have a successful YouTube channel and OnlyFans business?
Well, YouTube, you can just get kicked off instantly because of terms of
Do you think
service.
doors
So
have closed for you with your work that you do now?
yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
So does that mean your work is bad?
Way less doors have closed because of my work. And like you couldn't ever work at a real
Do you think
corporation.
your
You couldn't
work
work at a
is
real
bad for
company.
society
No,
because
my
doors
work's not
have
bad for
closed for you?
society, but what I'm trying to say is
Okay, so
society's
then your
evil.
point about doors closing in the future is pointless.
For you, you're never going to be able to get a real job. You're a
And you
prostitute.
will?
Yes, I could do whatever I want. I own a car business. I could go back into the car business in 2 seconds. So yeah, I'm in multiple
So
industries.
you don't think I could start my own business?
I guess yeah, technically you could start your own business, but you could never
Okay,
work for a
thank you.
company.
So
Like
we
I
can
work
agree
at the
that
Blaze.
it's not
You
gonna
could never
affect-
work at the Blaze because you're a whore. You see what I'm saying? Like a prostitute, they wouldn't hire a prostitute. You could never have any mainstream success. You couldn't work. Like I go on Sky News Australia. I'm a regular contributor on
I
Sky
would
News Australia.
never haul myself out to the Blaze.
But I'm saying you could never go on Sky News Australia. I go on there all the time, and you could never do that. They would never have you on there. You could never work for them because
I've
they would say
already
we
been
don't
on
want to.
national Australian TV.
Well, I'm saying you get an interview, but you could never work there. You could never get paid by them
I
because
wouldn't want to nor need to.
yeah, because you're a prostitute. You'd rather spread your legs. So
Okay.
do
and
you think
YouTube,
do you
just
think
like
it
me.
takes a talent to spread your legs and to speak into a microphone? Do you think you're talented?
I have talents.
What are they?
Well, ASMR, for one, is one of my
And a
things that I do.
talking nasty. So your talent is being a prostitute? That's your only
Well,
talent?
my YouTube is completely safe for work. I don't do anything sexual on my
But your
YouTube.
OnlyFans is not safe for work, right?
Okay, but you would understand running a YouTube channel myself would obviously take skills. Like, for example, you just have a production that runs everything for you. You would
Well,
hardly have to lift a finger, right?
I've ran my own channel for years before I got
And
that
how did that go?
opportunity. It went good. My channel was very successful.
Was it?
Yes, it
All
is.
right.
It is.
We spent a lot of time talking about each other's personal this and that. So let's try to get, I think, into our Q&A there, fellas, and get some of the questions rolling. But I do want to let everybody know my last bit of housekeeping here before Q&A. You already know about the tickets. You know about the crowdfund and the amazing perks that we have there. But I do want to also let you know that we have a sponsor now. So it's a play money prediction market platform where you can bet on anything. So you can bet on the debates that are happening this weekend. You can check out other links to other things that you can bet on going on all over social media platforms. It's just, I checked it out earlier. I was like, this is actually pretty interesting. I won't get into anymore. But yeah, definitely check the link in the description there. We do have a poll on who will win the Trump versus Biden debate between Destiny and Sean Fitzgerald. So you'll see that next to me there, everybody. So let's get into our super chats. LJ coming in again, thinking we're doing a flat Earth debate. Never fails. Please ask, does Didley believe we landed on the moon? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
I guess. All right.
Yes.
No way. Impossible.
All right. Well, we won't go down that rabbit hole, but maybe some other time that could be fun. All right. Manga Fan Dan says, "Can guys make OnlyFans accounts? I want to make some of that man candy money."
Absolutely, you can. As I said in the beginning, I actually started out as a subscriber on OnlyFans, so I love dabbling in a little bit of porn myself, particularly to solo male creators. They're making a lot of money. It's definitely possible.
Being a prostitute.
And
All right. Let's move on
It's
to
not
the
good. Being a prostitute's the lowest form. I mean, it's just so talentless. It's so masturbating on camera is the most pathetic thing that you could probably ever do.
I'm sorry, this is so funny looking at your camera and hearing those words.
Well,
Yeah,
Come
it's
out of
funny
your
that you
mouth.
masturbate on camera for a living. I know that's hilarious.
I'm talking
Well, I'm
to
glad that
Michael
everybody's
Jackson.
smiling and having a good time. So let's continue the next super chat. If you're having a good time in the chat there, hit the like button. And, call me out in the live chat because your hooligan let me know that I said no bars held earlier. What the heck? I must just be tired. No holds barred. So, yeah, if you heard some colorful language throughout the debate, that was all consented to beforehand, everybody. So, High Flyer, how much does OnlyFans charge to see a white guy named Alex Stein impersonate and showing of MJ's butthole?
I'd be really cheap. Like her, I would charge $15 because that's very little money. So everybody could afford it. I would want all the poor people to be able to see it.
All right. Well, if you make it, I think they will come.
I think they will.
Sorry, I should pronounce COME everybody. All right, so a smart aleck atheist, shame sex workers. It's itself shameful. Sex and nudity is considered indecent. Is a social construct. So why is there anything wrong with sex workers, considering that it is between consenting adults?
You can't be naked in public. That's a crime. So
well, you can in certain places.
And I cannot have my penis out in a public area here in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, absolutely. You can go to nudist places. Places where it's like designated a legal area.
Yeah, some dark corner of the world. I'm talking about a real
Dark
society.
Corner.
You're talking about like there might be 1 acre where there's a nudist farm. I'm talking about you can't walk
look
around
it up,
naked.
Like nude beaches near me. They're fucking everywhere.
Well, I
Maybe
guess
it's just
in there
Australia,
in
but-
Dallas, there's not. It's not. It's a crime to be naked
well,
in
are
public.
those places like detrimental to society as well because people are allowed to run around?
Yeah, there's a
naked,
crime.
so-
It's called indecent exposure. You go to jail. Like people
No,
that
we've
show their
established
penis.
that it's legal in those areas.
Yeah, but I'm talking about I don't live in those areas. So everywhere I live, it's illegal to
It
whip out
doesn't
your
matter if
dong.
you live there or not. I'm saying there are areas where it's legal. Are
So it's
they
called
therefore
indecent
bad?
exposure.
Are they
Yeah.
bad for society?
If a child sees you butt naked, that's terrible for society. That's indecent exposure. That's a crime. Yeah, that's
It's
bad.
not in these designated areas.
I'm talking about being naked in non-designated areas is terrible for society. They're
Okay,
just
but
saying that
the chatter,
you can't just walk around naked in society. You have to go to some weird designated area. So that's not real society. Society's everywhere else where
yes,
we
and I'm asking
congregate.
in those
I
areas
can't
where it's
go to,
fully legal in the privacy of your own home. Obviously, there's
that's
nothing wrong
still
with being
indecent.
nude,
That's still disgusting. I mean, I would never do that, but
in
I'm
your
saying that's still
opinion.
bad.
In
Yeah,
your
my
opinion.
opinion. That's what I'm debating. My opinion, not yours. So.
All right, let's carry into Charles Lehner says, "Oh wait, where's Don Terrius? Wait, where's my wife? Do we know what this
My
means?"
wife's boyfriend, Ontarius. They're in the kitchen cooking something.
Are
We'll
you
hang out with
married
them.
or is that a meme?
I'm married. Yes.
I'm not sure.
You are married.
I was gonna say I
Yes.
wasn't sure what I was reading there, so if I've said something
No.
terrible, just you let me know. Hate Stairs, great job, Ryan and Didley. Well, thank you, Hate Stairs. Now he's got some criticism for you here, Alex.
Oh.
Alex, your entire argument was one giant shame fest. Try touching grass, my brother in Christ.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's very shameful to expose themselves on the internet for money. There's a lot of shame with that. I know she tries to act like there's no shame, but I guarantee her brothers
Well,
and
you
sisters.
feel shame. I don't.
Well, most people feel shame. I think you will
And I
one
don't.
day. You will one day.
I don't think I will.
Well, only time will tell.
All right,
Nudity is based.
we'll carry into Yeshua the King. For both, should kids do OnlyFans? Why or why not? All right, that's a little strange.
Should
but
kids produce child pornography? No.
No.
Child pornography is bad.
We agree on that. Adult pornography is almost just as bad. Not as
Do you
bad.
watch porn, Alex?
No.
When was the last time you watched porn?
I look at Instagram. Sometimes there's a thong or two on there I see, but no, I don't
So
outwardly
you
search
follow
porn.
them? You follow porn stars?
No, I don't follow porn stars. I'm just saying every girl shows her ass on the internet now. That's why.
Yeah, because you follow them. So they pop up on your feed.
No, for my For You page, I don't follow them. Sometimes it just
Oh,
comes
so you
up.
search for them in the For You page?
No, it comes up. It comes up, but no, I'm not a porn
Mhm.
user. I mean, or a prostitute like you. So.
all right, let's carry into the next one here. Smart Alec Atheist. Why should prostitution be illegal? It's between consenting adults.
Why should it? It sounded like it was more a question for Alex. If it's
Well, it's-
between consenting adults.
It's
I
not
agree.
legal. It's not legal.
Well, they're asking why should prostitution be illegal?
Why should it? Harm reduction is the main argument. For me.
You're saying that's why it should be illegal, or that's why you say it
Why
should be
I
legal?
think it should be legal for harm reduction.
Yeah, I think the
And
question
also
is.
because I
Sorry, I was gonna say.
like personal liberties.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think the question is for you though, Alex. I think you were right there, Didley. So why should prostitution be illegal? And then we'll move on.
Yeah, because I think it opens up an avenue of a lot of bad stuff. Like I said, with sex trafficking, like perfect example, there's so many child victims of sex trafficking because they're so vulnerable. So because it's legal, you might say it's two consenting adults, but it's not always two consenting adults. There's usually a pimp. There's usually somebody that's forcing the girl to do it. You don't believe there's pimps, Didley?
No, I'm just laughing because we know, like, we have evidence that legalizing prostitution makes it safer and reduces those things that you're talking about.
I think too many girls have gotten beaten up by their pimps. Do you have a
You
pimp?
think
Didley?
it doesn't matter what you think. We know.
Do
Like,
you have a pimp, Didley?
no.
All right,
Do you?
let's move into
Blaze
the next one.
TV. Blaze TV.
I'm not
You're
a
pimp.
prostitute. I'm not a prostitute.
You're whoring out for Blaze TV.
By having a show on a network is the same as a prostitute.
Yeah,
that shows you
you're
how
a
that shows
whore.
you how smart you are. It's funny. That's very rich coming from an actual whore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's move into the next one. Gordzilla says, please watch this debate again in 20 years, Diddley, hindsight and all that. So we'll have a moment for closing statements before we wrap up. Don't you worry, Gordzilla, and I'm sure that we'll get some thoughts out there. Excuse me. BMT, business minded talk. So he gets on and takes money and give them ear porn to take his talking point, but he's a content creator just like her. No different, my guy. So they're saying that what you do is the same.
No, it's not. It's not the same at all. I
I
don't have
think
an.
we're a lot more similar than you would like to admit.
Oh, we both have a YouTube, yes, but I don't have an OnlyFans where I'm doing sexual stuff. I don't
I would
do
even
that.
say you're more shameless than I am.
I probably am more shameless, but I'm not a prostitute. It's just different. You're a prostitute, like a whore. I mean, it's the lowest common denominator. I know you don't get it now. You feel so empowered, but you're young. Would you admit that you're young?
How old do you think I am?
Well, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying people change. And I'm telling you, the person that you are today is going to be a lot different in 10 years. And one day you're probably going to say, Alex, you were right about a lot of stuff you said. Well, just like I keep saying, only time will tell.
I'm a very progressive person. I have a very, very progressive views on nudity. I'm basically a nudist at home. I just walk around naked all the time. I don't give a fuck. Very progressive about sex work. I really don't see this ever becoming a regret of mine as much as you guys like to think so. You have like this revenge fantasy where all these OnlyFans women break down crying. They die alone with all their 10 cats.
You need to go watch the documentary Hot Girls Wanted. Literally,
I have seen it.
Yeah, and every girl in there regretted doing porn.
Yeah, I would agree that there are a lot of really
So
bad things about the mainstream porn industry.
Mia Khalifa
OnlyFans
regrets it.
alleviates those things
It doesn't
because
alleviate
we're
it.
in control
It
of our own content.
It encourages it. It doesn't alleviate it. I'm telling you, it
What do you
encourages more
mean?
girls because it's an easier avenue for more girls to get into sex work.
The main issue with Hot Girls Wanted was that people were like being pressured to produce content that they don't want to do. That doesn't exist on OnlyFans.
Yes,
You
it does.
create
There's
your own-
all Didley. There's OnlyFans pimps. There's
Do
girls
you
that
think
feel
that is
pressure.
the average?
Yes, I do think that's the average.
You think
Yes.
everyone on OnlyFans is being pimped out?
I would say yes. I would say the majority of them are being pimped out. I'm being dead
Well,
serious
that's
when I say that.
delusional. That's just not reality.
You're the delusional one. I'm not delusional. There's a lots of OnlyFans pimps. You've heard of OnlyFans pimps, right, Didley? You said that earlier.
I have. That's a minuscule amount.
You have no
of the
evidence
people
of
that
that.
are on OnlyFans.
You have no evidence of that.
Where is your evidence that everyone on OnlyFans is being pimped out?
I just think they are because you're. I mean, if you're not being pimped
You
out
just
by a
think they
pimp,
are. Okay.
yeah, that's
I
why
have no evidence, but you just think everyone.
No, there is evidence. We know of stories of guys pimping multiple women. You know that, right? There is evidence.
Yes, we've established that.
So
And
I think that's bad. That girls are being forced to do OnlyFans. So that's not good. And OnlyFans only encourages that.
And the vast majority of creators on OnlyFans are producing their own content. They are making all the money, not the pimp, apart from the
OnlyFans doesn't.
fees.
Does OnlyFans not get a cut?
Yes, they get a 20.
Oh, so that's your pimp.
OnlyFans
Oh, so that's your pimp. Oh, I forgot. Okay,
also, that's the argument
So,
you're going to go with. Okay,
yeah, so you're so
much,
empowered. You're so empowered. They get a little bit of your money for showing
you know
your
how
butthole.
much
Okay,
YouTube
so
takes away from you.
YouTube and OnlyFans are not the same. We're not arguing if YouTube is good for society. You're the one that's getting pimped out by a website that's taking part of your money, all this money that you get. Yet they get it for free.
Are not being pimped out.
You're being pimped out. You're paying a fee to be on there. I'm sorry to tell you, that's called paying your pimp. You're being pimped out by OnlyFans, hon.
Okay, that's not what pimping means.
All right.
Okay. Well, you're in loser denial. But that's fine.
All right, let's move on to the next one there, guys. So BMT coming in says business-minded talk is the name of them. Donald Trump's wife showed her body and still became the first lady. Car salesmen use beautiful women to sell cars. Thoughts
That's
on
true.
that?
Melania is not naked, I believe. She covered up her boobs.
I'm pretty sure she was. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing her tits.
Well, even so,
Maybe
I would no, but I would argue this, like, there is a way where you could be naked and it could be an artistic way. I think that there's a difference between art and then charging $15 to show your butthole,
So
right?
what you're saying is that you can be naked online and still get a really good job.
Melania doesn't have a job.
All right.
Excuse me?
Melania Trump has a job. She's married to the president. She was a model before that. So I don't think that's her job.
All right.
I mean,
being married, is that a job? But see, that's sad. Like, you know, why don't
being
you
the
get
first
married?
lady isn't a job. Like being that high up in like politics.
I don't know. I don't think they get paid to be the first lady. I don't believe. So I don't think it's a job.
They make no money. That's your opinion.
Well, it's not a job that they got hired for. They married the president. So I think it's a little different.
But you don't think they're making any money as the first lady?
I don't know what Melania does for a living. I don't know how she earns income.
I mean, I assume she would be on like TV appearances, interviews.
Do you see her on those? I don't see her
advertisements.
on those. I don't see her on any of that
She would be getting
stuff.
paid.
I don't see her do that. right now. So I don't think that's her job now.
All right, let's move
Okay,
on.
but she can still get a job even though she was naked online.
Yeah, one time she was naked, not for $15 where everybody can go see it.
Oh,
It's
I'm glad you
different.
can at least admit that.
Well, I tried to say this earlier in the debate. There was girls that would get paid millions of dollars to show their boobs in one magazine, Playboy, not for $15, and then get pimped out by a website that charges you a service fee. Like you're
I
less
said
than
this
that.
in the beginning. I don't know why you keep bringing up like the subscription price when we
Because
know
that shows you how
obviously...
little you're worth. That shows you that you're worth nothing. You're worth the
Okay, but if
same.
I'm making as much as the Playboy people, does that
You're not
make
making
your
as much
argument
as they're. You're not. You're
How do
not
you know
making.
how much do you think I'm making?
Listen, you have to constantly show your butthole.
Do you
So
think I'm making $15?
Yeah, that's what you make per person. Yeah.
You think I have one subscriber?
Okay, I'm saying I can go there for $15. That's what you cost me. You cost me $15, hon. So that's the only price I'm talking about. I can go for $15 and see whatever the hell I want to see. So that's what you're worth to me. You might say you're worth more because you have more in the bank account, but I'm saying to society, for you to be fully exposed, you're worth $15, babe.
15 times what? 50,000 maybe?
Per person. I'm saying that's me. Your cost $15 to see you.
Okay, I just don't know why you bring up the
because you're embarrassed that it's that sad. Right. I know, but you're embarrassed because for $15 you can be totally exposed on the internet because you're a prostitute. So yeah, it's embarrassing.
Let's move on to the next question, guys.
For the price of a magazine. What is your point?
All right, let's try to move on. It shows you how low self-worth you have for $15. It's just sad.
How much does the price of a Playboy magazine cost? 15 maybe?
I have no idea. I don't know. I don't buy.
Yeah, maybe even less than 15. Hey.
All right.
You would think so.
But that's one picture or two or three pictures.
Yes, and it's one subscriber.
Hundreds of videos.
$15 is one subscriber. I know,
but I'm saying all I have to pay is $15 and I can get to see you.
And all you have to pay is $10 for a magazine to see someone totally exposed in Playboy.
And that's not good either.
I think we're going in circles with this one now, guys.
Argument.
So let's carry on.
No, I'm just saying it just shows you that you're worth nothing. You're worth $15.
All right. I know you're determined to get the last word in there, but we do have to move on. So does Didley ever get creeped out thinking about some of let's make it less personal let's just say, do you think it's creepy that older men would be watching young women's content on OnlyFans?
Like my content specifically? I love it. That's why I do OnlyFans.
Okay. All right. Sagoma for $5. Alex, where do you get your morality and why should others care about it?
People don't have to care about my morality. I don't think I mean, people can care about whatever they want.
Well, it sounds like you think I should, considering you were calling for the banning of porn, including
this debate is if it's bad for society. I'm just trying to be honest with you. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I don't control you. You get to do whatever you want. I'm just telling you that it's not good for society what you're doing, and it's going to have repercussions later. You can believe me or not.
That, but like you've brought up how you hope that it gets banned. So you obviously don't think I should be able to do whatever I want.
I don't think you should be showing your butthole on the internet now, or be a prostitute. I think you're better than that, but maybe not. I guess you don't think you're better.
That's different. Like saying you don't think I should do it is different to I think you shouldn't be allowed to do it.
I think it's bad for society.
You stated multiple times throughout this debate that you think I shouldn't be allowed to do it.
Well, I mean, I think the debate is whether it's good for society. I mean, I don't control you. I'm not your boss. So you're allowed to do whatever you want.
But you wish you could control me, which is why you wish.
No, I just wish that society wasn't so.
Then why did you bring up
pathetic.
multiple times that you think it should be banned?
I do think it should be banned. I do think it should
be
banned.
So you do want to control me, and you do think I shouldn't be allowed to do it.
I guess in that sense, yeah, I don't think you should be a prostitute.
We got there in the end.
Yeah, I don't think you should be a prostitute. I think you're better than being a whore on the street, on the digital street. Yeah. Yeah, you're better than being a whore that you're getting banged by multiple guys while your boyfriend sits there and watches.
It took a while,
I know, I'm just saying, being a pathetic, dirty whore is not going to be good for you in the long run. Trust me.
All right, I'm turning up my preamp here. I'm overrun. All right, so sorry, Johnny Payton, if I skipped your chat. I'll just summarize it here because it's a little bit on the no side. Sorry, buddy. But he's a fan of yours, Didley, and I'm not going to read that. So if you want to look in the chat and check out what he had to say, that's on you. AI, that one was from the earlier one there. The one after that was Sagoma. Next one coming in from DEBATECON. Love you, Alex. Love the costume. Keep up the great work out there.
Thank you.
So, in Jesus' name, hey, coming in from Canada, you can't debate morality with degenerates. It's like debating color with a blind person.
Well, it's a good thing we're both degenerates, huh?
Okay, maybe a little. I'm not as degenerate as you, but I am a degenerate. I'll take it.
So we can argue about it then. We're on even playing field, huh?
No, I'm not a prostitute, babe. We're different.
Okay, but you're still degenerate.
But I'm not a whore for money on the street.
All right, let's
Yeah,
carry
you're just
on.
a whore for Blaze TV.
So, Sagoma did ask, Alex, where do
And
you...
my dad gets to come visit me at my job. That's the difference. Is my
My
dad gets
dad
to
can
come.
visit me in my
Oh,
office.
he can't look at your
right here.
OnlyFans where you make all your money, where you make all that money. Your dad doesn't get to go to your work. Why? Because that would be incest
don't
because you're a
want him
whore.
to.
I know.
All right.
That's see, but my dad gets to come to my work all the time. He's proud. Oh, dad, come. Your dad could never, where you make all your money, your dad could never ever see it because you're a disgusting whore and that would be considered incest. So think about
Pride
that.
has nothing to do with wanting like to
Your
watch
dad
me
can't
work.
even see what you do for a living, where you make all your income. That's sad because your dad is
No,
probably
it
ashamed to see his
isn't.
daughter be a
He
prostitute.
can say my parents watch my YouTube channel.
All right, let's
Where
carry
do you
into the
make
next
where
one.
do you make most of your money though on your OnlyFans?
Why
can
does
your-
that matter though?
I'm
You
saying, can your
still watch
dad-
my work?
Or your dad can watch your OnlyFans?
Also, why you only bring up my dad? What about my mom? Why
Yeah,
is it
Because your
always
dad's
just
probably more
dad?
embarrassed. Your dad's probably more embarrassed. But
why
you're
is that
probably not
okay?
very
I hate
close with your dad.
ugh.
All
Are your
It makes
parents?
me feel icky.
You should feel icky. You should feel
No,
very
it makes me
icky.
feel icky when people only bring up my father.
Yeah,
in
because
relation to the
no
conversation
father-
of OnlyFans.
No father wants her daughter to be a prostitute, Didley.
What about
All right.
mothers? Why is that never part of the conversation?
Okay, your mom didn't want you to be a prostitute either. Does that make you feel
But
better?
why do you default to father? There is something going on that
I
makes
guess-
people default to father.
Because I think a father would be more ashamed than a mother. I think a mother would be more empathetic to their daughter than a father.
All right,
No father wants their daughter to be a prostitute.
all right, let's carry on, guys. Very, very lively, lots to say on that. Sagoma had asked, Alex, where do you get your... You know, I did that Peterson impression earlier. I'll pull it out. Sagoma asks, Alex, where do you get your morality? Why should others care about it?
Everybody keeps asking me why they should care about my morals. You don't have to care about anything. I don't care if you guys care about me. I
Keep
mean,
circling back to this point, Alex. You've said that you wished that I shouldn't be allowed to do what I do.
mhm.
You wish that what I do is banned, illegal, right?
Yes.
So when you say, like, people don't need to care about my morality, that's not true.
I mean, I don't know. I don't agree with that. I'm just saying because I have an opinion. Not
You don't
everybody
agree
has.
with what?
Not everybody has to agree with me. I'm saying I think it's immoral
But
what
you're
you're
saying
doing.
we should agree with you because
I think what I
want to
do.
make my job illegal.
I think what you do is much more immoral than what I do. I think there's levels of morality.
So you
I think
agree what
anybody
you do
would-
is immoral?
No, I don't do anything immoral compared to you. We're comparing apples and oranges again. Society
but
might
just
say. Society might
general.
say I'm immoral because I call out people, because I don't go with the mainstream media, because I call stuff out. So the mainstream media would say, "Oh, Alex is immoral. He called AOC a big booty Latina." But I think that's a lot different than being a prostitute for $15 a month. So you're
Do you
much
think
more.
it's worse to do consensual OnlyFans
Yes, you're much
than
more.
sexually harass people?
Yeah, it's much more immoral than what you're doing. But I'm saying
So
sometimes
you're
I do
fine
stuff.
with like sexually harassing people? You think that's better than?
Well, I don't think that's
me
sexual
doing
harassment.
OnlyFans?
In Texas, that's a compliment to say you're a
Wait,
big
you don't
booty
think
Latina.
what is it?
That's a
Calling-
compliment to say you're a big booty Latina. That's a compliment.
Saying
here
that
in
to just
Texas.
like a woman walking past that you don't know.
To a politician that I do know. So
That's like
it's
the
different.
definition of sexual harassment.
Okay. So I do want
Well, you're a
to
prostitute,
let everybody
so you
know.
would know.
I do want to let
Better than
everybody
being a sexual
know
harasser, I guess.
you guys are...
Well, you sexually
So
harass
determined.
people all the time. I mean, that's all you do is
I do,
harass people.
how?
Yeah, you spread your legs on the internet, so you're the sexual
Two
harasser.
people who consent to see
All
it and they
right,
literally
we're
have to pay to
moving
see it.
on,
So you're a
guys.
prostitute
All
and a whore.
That's not harassment.
All
I
right,
don't know.
all right.
Mhm.
Let's move on, guys. I don't want to hit you guys on the mute. We've been so
Alright.
good up until this point, so let's try to carry on. And I do see there's still 380 people watching. Somehow they had the thumbs to make 344 votes in our poll, but we only have 127 likes. So if you can use that all that thumb energy to put a thought into the poll, why don't you hit the like button and get this and try to beat the YouTube algorithm for us. So the poll stands: is OnlyFans good for society? And our poll says it's so bad 50%. 50% say it's so bad. 35% said, sure, why not? And then the last 13% said, only soy. Last call out for putting that old like in there. And let's get back to our super chats as I move my way back through them. Now who's using their fancy fingers? All right, so let's see. Mathis Lizot. Would Alex buy Don Tirius OnlyFans?
Yes, I would buy his, yes.
Okay. Guillotine for $10. Primetime Alex Stein got cucked hard by an OnlyFans model that he thinks bestiality is more morally acceptable than being an OnlyFans model. Thoughts on that?
That's not what I said at all.
Guillotine
I'm saying
coming in hot.
OnlyFans encourages more people to be and commit bestiality from examples of guys sending private messages. There's guys that have sent that message. That's a real thing. So girls are being paid to commit bestiality.
Do you think that those people would be into bestiality even if OnlyFans didn't exist?
OnlyFans is the avenue where they can do it easily. So that's why OnlyFans is bad for society.
Okay, but it would exist with or without OnlyFans.
It exists more
people.
because of OnlyFans. It's
How?
more accessible because of OnlyFans.
I would need a source on that, and I know you don't have that. So.
Well, we don't need sources. We're based in reality, sweetheart.
Well, we absolutely do.
No, we don't. We can be real with it. You know, there's pervs on there sending weird messages, sending girls money to do stuff that they haven't even thought of. So that was my point with the bestiality statement, is that these girls wouldn't even think.
That's totally
let me finish my statement.
Not allowed on OnlyFans.
What I'm saying is there's these perverted guys that would send girls messages that would encourage them to do stuff that you couldn't even think about. You couldn't even think about, but because you're on OnlyFans, because you have an open avenue, an open address where anybody can continue their fantasies, and now they put a dollar sign on it, people are vulnerable. People come from broken backgrounds. People don't have parents. There's orphans. People are victims. They're disabled. They can't make money, but now they turn to OnlyFans, and now they're getting pimped out by the OnlyFans company because they're getting a cut of it, and by all the weird perverts that are sending them messages. I don't think that the audience that you're cultivating on your OnlyFans are good people. I hate to break it to you. I think they're all perverts that are probably cranking it to you constantly, and they all are sexual degenerates, and that's not good.
Okay, let's try to move on from there. That one was for you, Alex. So next one is from Yeshua the King. Says, Didley, your premise is people should do what makes them happy. So if it was legal for minors and they wanted to do OnlyFans, why and how could you object to that?
So we put a lot of restrictions on people who are underage for very good reasons. They can't vote either. There's a lot of things minors can't do, even though they would love to do it. And again, that is for harm reduction.
Yeah, but it's just like how there's underage people that look up porn, there's people that can go on there and circumvent the rules and go on there underage. And that has happened.
You understand, OnlyFans makes that so much harder to do compared to the mainstream porn industry.
Okay, but it's still possible. I don't know what to tell you. It's still possible. It still happens.
One case where someone like faked an ID,
so,
but you know,
I know. So you're on a site. You're on a site with child porn. Good for you, sweetheart. Good for you. Great.
You are right now. Do you not think it exists on YouTube? Good job, sweetheart.
You keep on comparing YouTube and OnlyFans. It shows you how smart you are. Yes,
because your argument is that what I'm doing is wrong because I'm on a site that has had
child sex trafficking. Yeah, that's terrible. That's terrible. Because OnlyFans is a site for pornography.
Do you not think that
YouTube pornography is not allowed?
That's not an argument.
I'm saying I'm sure there's been child trafficking on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I'm sure it's happened everywhere, but I'm saying it happens more on the site that you have, the prostitution site called OnlyFans.
No, it happens far less because you need, I don't know if you know the application process to become a creator to be able to upload things on OnlyFans, but you need to send in your ID with a photo of yourself, and they scan that shit to ensure that it's a real ID and it matches your face. So they don't need any of that.
You've never heard of a fake ID, I guess. You've never heard of a fake ID.
But you understand that
they can get a real ID. I'm saying they can get a real ID and put their picture over it. There's all kinds of scams. A real criminal can figure out.
Yeah, but you understand that's way harder than just uploading a video on YouTube, right?
YouTube terms of service would immediately take it down if there's any nudity on. If there's nudity on this stream, it would immediately take it. Yes, there's no nudity allowed on YouTube.
You think no nudity exists on YouTube?
I think there's some naked yoga. I think there's some weird naked yoga that exists on YouTube.
Okay, so clearly nudity does get past whatever system you're talking about, yeah?
Not porn, not what you're talking about, not child porn.
Okay,
Okay.
but it's easier.
So you
for
think child porn?
porn.
So you're telling me right now you think you could find child porn on YouTube right now?
No, I'm saying I can find porn.
Yeah, I'm talking about child porn, but child porn does
Yeah, and
exist
I'm
on
saying
your site,
guaranteed
OnlyFans.
more child porn has been uploaded to YouTube, Twitter, Instagram than there ever has
False.
been on OnlyFans.
False.
Why? You need an
False.
ID, you need to take a photo of your face on OnlyFans.
False.
On all those other websites, you just need to make an account and upload it.
I'm just saying you're on a website that there's child sex trafficking
How are
and
you?
child porn
You're on
on.
the internet, baby.
Okay, but you're the whore and the prostitute, so we're different, sweetheart.
Okay, well, that's not an argument.
That you're a prostitute. I know you can't argue that.
No, it's not an argument that I'm on a website that has had child porn on it because you are as well.
No, you're the prostitute, not me.
Yes, we're on the internet.
No, you're the prostitute. So
That's not an argument.
it is an argument. I'm saying you're
Well,
on
you're
a
diverting
website
away
called
from the fact that you are
OnlyFans.com
on a
that your
website.
dad, so your dad can't even look at that website because that would be considered incest because that would be a crime. Here in America, incest is illegal. So your own dad would be committing a crime if he even looked at your OnlyFans.
How does
thing.
that relate to it being good for society?
Because it's a website where your dad could go to jail if he looked at it. That's bad for society. I don't want your dad in jail. I don't want incest to exist. So the fact that your dad can't even look at what you do for a living, that's a crime. That's not good for society, sweetie pie,
I don't
honey
think
bunches.
that's an argument as to like if it's bad.
Well,
for
you're
society.
in loser denial, so that's just how it goes.
All right, let's move on. Bendy Bruce sends in his first super chat for this spicy debate. So thanks for your first super chat. Criminalizing prostitution will only empower gangs and make it a much less safer world, a safer occupation for women. Agree or disagree for both?
I mean, I disagree. I mean, I don't think prostitution's good, period. So that's my argument.
As I turn my preamp back up, any thoughts on the other side, or just want to carry on?
Yeah, we'll just go to the next one.
All right, sweet. Alex, if the downside to OnlyFans is a conservative society's reaction, for example, not hiring you, is that not more an issue of acceptance of practiced freedoms?
I don't even understand that question at all. Say that again.
So I think they're saying, like, if you lose out on opportunities, if the downside to OnlyFans is a conservative society's reaction, for example, not hiring you, is that not more an issue of acceptance of practiced freedoms?
I mean, I still don't even understand the
We went
question.
through this a little bit during the debate
I have
because I
no
kept
idea.
bringing up that social stigma existing is not it doesn't mean that the thing itself is bad for society. The thing that is
Well,
being
I would. The
stigmatized.
reason why it has a stigma around it is because it's bad. Like being a prostitute is not
That's
good
not
for
true.
society.
Do you think being gay is bad because there's
No,
a stigma around
you
it?
could be gay. You're allowed to be gay.
Okay, so we've established that stigma doesn't mean the thing itself is bad.
Well, I don't think there's a social stigma being not here in America. As a matter of fact, if you're gay, it's good for society. They pump you. Are you kidding?
Ridiculous.
They love gay people here in America. DEI, as a matter of fact, at some companies, they have to hire a certain amount of gay people. So they actually get to cut the line because they're homosexual. So you actually have more, you have more
So you think
opportunities.
homophobia just doesn't exist?
I think all kind of phobias exist, but I'm saying here in America, by being a homosexual, you actually have more doors open for you. As a matter of fact, some companies have DEI scores. They have to hire a trans person. So I would get actually overlooked being a white cisgender male because I don't help their DEI score. So I would say that a gay person has more rights in America than a straight person.
Okay, so you admit homophobia exists and you admit that a stigma towards gay people doesn't mean being gay is bad. That's that conversation done. We'll move on to the next one.
But being a prostitute is one of the lowest forms of social stigma. Your dad can't look at it because that's a crime because you're naked on there. Do you not get how that's a social stigma? If your dad looked at your job, he would go to jail in America.
You keep saying
that's a
back
stigma.
to this. It's making me think you're into incest. But
no,
again,
I'm trying to expose it. I'm saying you can't even bring your dad to work. You can't even have a bring your dad to work day because that would be considered incest.
Reiterate. A social stigma doesn't mean the thing that is being stigmatized is bad. That's not an argument.
Well, okay. I'm just saying being a prostitute is a terrible social stigma is my point.
All right.
Yes, it is very stigmatized. You're right.
Let's carry on to the next question there, guys. Sorry, I ducked for a second. Unlike some of the professional YouTubers, I don't have a bucket under my chair, so I had to make a quick little break there. So let's go to the next question. Bastard Fish says, if you call yourself a sex worker and don't actually have sex for money, you're guilty of stolen valor. Doing lewds is lazy. Get to the streets. My goodness. That's a thought. Do you have thoughts
No,
on
people
what
say this a
he's
lot,
saying?
like how people on OnlyFans shouldn't call themselves sex workers, but sex work is just an umbrella term. It can mean anything from literal escorting or prostitution to taking pictures of your feet. As long as you're doing something for monetary gain, for sexual gratification, that is sex work. You don't physically have to be having sex with anyone. Stripping on a pole is sex work. You don't have to have sex with anyone. Doing what you do on camera is sex work.
I agree. I think sex work is bad.
Yeah, we know.
All right. Let's move on to the next one here. Let's see. BMT Business Minded Talk says again, how does the Blaze fight for freedom of speech but has a problem with someone's freedom of choice? Doesn't Glenn Beck control your control?
Glenn Beck doesn't control anything I do. I'm allowed to do whatever I want on the Blaze, but comparing a prostitute and my show on the Blaze are totally different. We're not allowed to show nudity at the Blaze. We're an actual network.
So you are being controlled.
I would never show nudity. I mean, because that's illegal. That's a crime. We're on TV. You can't show
how can you
nudity
say
on
you're all
TV
for like freedom of speech and expression, but you want to ban pornography?
because that's a crime. You can't go on
It's a
TV and be
crime.
naked. I'm not allowed
No, I'm
to
talking
be
about
naked on
pornography
TV.
in general. How can you claim to be like a freedom of speech warrior for freedom of expression, but you want to ban porn?
Because porn is immoral and it's disgusting and it's
Okay, so you're not for freedom of speech and expression.
not when it comes to porn.
Okay, so you should stop calling yourself a free speech warrior. Get that out of the bio.
Is that in my bio?
I don't know, it's probably in some of your bios, maybe on YouTube and videos and stuff.
I don't think so.
You started the debate by saying you're for freedom of speech.
I am.
That was like your tagline.
Freedom of speech. I think we should be able to say anything, but spreading your butthole and jamming stuff up it, I don't think is freedom of speech, honey.
I mean, that would follow under like freedom of expression, like being able to do what you want with your body as long as you're not harming anyone.
Well, I think it does harm people. I think it harms yourself.
Sure. Right. How am I being harmed?
Because in the long term, it's going to be very bad for your emotional well-being.
That's just like you speculating and having.
I'm speculating because I have other evidence of girls that were doing sex work and they vehemently regret it. And there's a lot of girls that regret
Okay,
doing
what
sex
happens when 20 years down the line, I'm super happy and really glad that I did OnlyFans and I'm set up for life? What happens?
I'll join for $15. I'll check in with you and see how your tits are hanging.
That's very immoral of you.
I know. We'll see how they're hanging in 20 years.
All right.
You said you were married, right?
Yeah. My wife's on OnlyFans.
Are you non-monogamous?
No, my wife's on OnlyFans.
So you're non-monogamous? Your wife is cool with you jacking it to other women?
No, I don't jack it. My penis or my
Well, you
genitals.
said you were going to subscribe to my OnlyFans.
Not to jack it. My genitals were burned in a fire when I was 11 years old, so I can't actually ejaculate.
I'm just saying, like, it's pretty cuck behavior for you to go on OnlyFans when you're married. By your standards, of course.
You're the one that's a cuck. Like, you're the one that...
I'm saying by your standards.
I'm not a cuck. I mean, I'm not on your OnlyFans. I'm saying in 20 years,
Do you think
I
married
might
men should be subscribing to women's OnlyFans?
No, I think that messes up a lot of marriages and relationships.
So why did you say you're going to subscribe to mine? Didn't you say
as a joke? I'm being sarcastic. I'm never going to subscribe to your OnlyFans. You're a whore. You cost $15. And a lot of girls on OnlyFans, you don't have to subscribe to see them naked. I could probably find you naked on the internet without subscribing. Can I?
I already said at the beginning, I don't do nudity. I don't know why you keep going on about that.
Yeah, I mean, but if you're doing basically nudity, I mean, come on, dude. Come on. You're doing sex work. You're talking sexually. Let's just call a spade a spade.
Let's try to move on to our next super chat here. So Charles Lehner says a strange question about a boot. There's the Canadian coming out. Sorry, Charles. We're going to move on to something a little more substantive if we can. Like a compliment. Matthew Adams says, Alex Stein is awesome. Much love from the chats.
Thank you. Chat rats. I love you guys. I love the chat rats. You guys rule.
I almost missed that at the end, but yeah, okay, I got that there. Smart Alec Atheist says, "Why did my first super chat devolve from being about consenting adults to what we do in front of children?" So let me just scroll up here, and we'll remind ourselves what his one. What is it? Why should prostitution be illegal? It's between consenting adults. So he wants more on that, and he doesn't want you guys to talk about what we do in front of children. So he's trying
I
to
would
get
love
something
that
different.
too.
Well, not every prostitution relationship is consensual. I think there's the idea of pimps, anybody that's heard of pimps. So there are women that don't choose it. They get addicted to drugs, they are vulnerable, and so they get
Okay,
pimped
what about the
out.
situations like mine where it's completely consensual?
It's still
Why do you have an
bad.
issue with that?
It's just not good for society
So you
because
think
usually,
consenting adults shouldn't be able to do what they want with their bodies?
well, it's a crime here in America. So I just
No,
say
it isn't. It's a crime to do OnlyFans in America.
to do prostitution is a crime, to
To
pay
do
somebody for
OnlyFans. We're
sex.
talking about OnlyFans.
Okay, if we're just talking about OnlyFans, no, that's legal, but prostitution, and it's funny that it's legal because you have a camera, but if you didn't have a camera, if I just paid you to get naked in front of me while I did something sexual, that is a
But why
crime.
do
That's
you,
called
let's
prostitution.
get
And
back
you
to the
are a
question.
prostitute
Why do you have an issue with what I, a consenting adult, choose to do with my body?
because it's just sad and pathetic that you're a whore. That's why. You should be more than a whore and a prostitute.
Okay, you should be more than Michael Jackson dressed in front of a green screen.
Okay, well, you're the whore for $15 a month.
See how like that meant nothing to you, what I just said?
No, because I don't even listen.
What you're saying means nothing. Like
Well,
telling
Didley,
me
that's
you
the thing
shouldn't
is
be a whore
when I
doesn't mean
argue with
anything.
a whore or a prostitute, it doesn't affect me. I look at you just like I see those same streetwalkers. You're literally trash. You're like the lowest common denominator. You're a pathetic loser that
All right.
sells their body on the internet.
You're
So
aware
like
that's
I
not an
could care less.
argument, right?
I could care less what your opinion is because you're literally a prostitute, and I
You're
don't
aware
give a
that's
shit
not
what
an
prostitutes
argument,
say.
right? Like it doesn't
Okay.
help your argument at all. It
I
has
I
nothing
could
to
care
do with.
less. I'm just telling you, I could care less about your opinion because you're an actual whore.
All right, let's try to carry on there. Once again,
Nothing to
everybody,
do
I
with the
know,
question.
I know you might be saying in the live chat we're hearing a lot of colorful language, but once again, we've consented to having a spicy interaction from the onset. So this is just an honest representation of this interaction. The Bread Boy asks, Alex, if a Playboy costs $15 and an OnlyFans sub costs $15, why bring up the argument? Playboy model paid up front, OnlyFans model paid over time. What's the difference?
This is the difference. This is the point I was trying to make. It's one girl, it was Pamela Anderson, even though she did multiple, but I'm just trying to think like the wrestler Sable. She did one shoot and she made millions of dollars, right? You're doing shoots every day. Yeah, you might be making millions of dollars, but you're constantly whoring yourself out. You're a constant prostitute. Instead of just one photo shoot making $1 million, you have to do a photo shoot almost every single day and you're still not making as much money. So that's the
what is
difference.
the point of that argument? If I was making $1 million from one video, would that be more
Mhm.
acceptable in your eyes?
Yeah, I do. And I mean, I think it'd be more acceptable. It'd still be immoral, still a prostitute, still a whore, but it would be
It would
more
be
acceptable.
less immoral?
Yeah, because you'd have less pictures of yourself naked on the internet, less porn out there. Yeah, so it'd be less bad.
Okay, that makes no sense.
Yes, it
If you
does.
think like
If
the
you have
porn
two
itself
pictures of
is
your
what's
tits on the
immoral,
internet, yeah, I'm saying if there's two pictures that existed of you naked, like you're going to say there's one picture of Melania Trump, that's less bad than the 15,000 images or the 15,000 hours of content that you have masturbating yourself or doing whatever the hell you're doing.
All right, let's try to. Yeah, I think we've made our point on that one, so we're gonna try to bring up new points going forward, just because I think we know how you guys feel about that. But we are getting close to the end of our super chat here, chats, I should say. So let's eat a person. Says, does Alex understand what an ad hominem fallacy is? That was a joke, by the way, everybody. Don't come at me.
An ad hominem is like not attacking. It's attacking the person and not the argument, I believe.
correct? It's your favorite thing to do, I think.
Yeah, because I'm arguing with a whore and a prostitute. I got to keep bringing it up. What are you talking
But
about?
it doesn't help your argument at all. Like, I don't
listen.
think you're here to actually debate like the morals behind this. You're just here.
No,
to
I kind of like
be a
exposing a
fool.
whore for being a whore when you should be more than that. I think
What
it's
do you
kind
mean
of entertaining.
exposing a whore for being a whore?
I mean, just calling you a prostitute and saying that you're a cuckold and that your husband's a cuckold and that your parents aren't proud of you. I think it's kind of fun and entertaining for me. I think it's good.
Yeah,
so I like it. I like exposing
Yeah, you don't
prostitutes.
actually care about the argument.
No, I do care about the argument. I just also enjoy, calling out a whore and a prostitute. So that's what I like.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, you're just really bad at making your points then.
Okay.
Let's
Well,
move
I don't
on to
have to
the.
be good. I'm arguing a prostitute. I'm arguing with a prostitute.
All right,
So I think
Alex.
all my points are more valid than
Let's
any of yours.
let's move on to the next one. AI says, do many OnlyFans workers give up future prospects, jobs, healthy relationships, etc., out of necessity because they need money now, or is society over it? So that one I think is for you, Diddley.
I definitely think the stigma is lessening over time. I think people really overstate just how much it affects your future jobs. But in saying that, at the same time, I wouldn't recommend anyone who hasn't given it a lot of thought and weighed up the risks to jump into it.
What are the
Obviously,
risks? What are the risks?
that is a risk. The job prospect
Same.
due
Name
to
some other
social
risks.
stigma.
What are some other risks,
Huh?
Diddley? What are some other risks of doing OnlyFans?
Um, Regretting it potentially, not
Do you think that
really
that
knowing what you're.
happens? Do you think that
Yeah.
happens a lot? So do you think it's good for the girls that did it and
Do I
regret
think it
it?
happens a lot? Probably not.
You
Huh?
don't think a lot of girls regret it? You think the majority of people that do it, they're proud of it?
No, I think as well, the smaller your account is, so for people who haven't given it much thought and go in, don't get many subscribers at all, and then quit, the risks are not as dire as someone as big as me, for example. Like, I'll always be on the internet. I've accepted that. That's a risk I was willing to delve into because the pros outweighed the cons. But for someone who's smaller, those same risks aren't going to be as great.
All right, let's move on. Lucas says, quality. I'm not going to read the first part, but I'll read the second part. He says, win, Alex, can't lose when you're arguing about something immoral. So, any thoughts there before we move on?
I mean, Didley knows what she does is immoral. Didley knows what she's doing is not good because
I
she
don't
just
think it's
said,
immoral at all.
well, you said it's risky for people to do it.
Let's
So,
talk about
you
the
Does
know,
broad topic
risky
if we
mean
can.
immoral?
in a way, yeah. In a way,
No, it
yeah.
doesn't.
I think that, if you're taking a risk by doing something immoral and, jeopardizing future job prospects or
If
embarrassing
it's
your
risky
family.
to like swim in a swimming pool or in the beach, does that mean swimming is immoral?
No, but what you're doing is immoral.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I don't think it is. You claimed that I think it's immoral. I don't.
I say society would say that being a prostitute is immoral. I think that's the
Yes, but
consensus
not
of society.
me. You
Yeah,
made the
but
claim I think
society.
what I'm doing is immoral. I
I
don't.
think you do know it's immoral. I do because your
No,
dad's not allowed to see it. Like if your dad could watch it, then it wouldn't be immoral. But the fact that if your dad watched it, the fact that it's incest, it shows you that it's immoral.
that's
So
not a
there you go.
thing. Like, do you think like someone doing a raunchy movie is immoral? Like actors or actresses, and them not wanting to watch that, not wanting their family members to see a scene where their
That's
tit
not
is
a
out.
crime. That's not a crime. That's
Neither is
totally different.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, but your dad looking at it, incest is illegal in the United States. So that would be a crime.
Okay, this brings me back to the point. If a actor in a raunchy movie who's like naked in a scene doesn't want their family to watch it, does that mean it's immoral because they don't want their
Yes.
family to watch it?
Yes.
You think raunchy like
Yes.
R-rated MA movies where
If they're
a tit is in
naked,
the movie?
if they're naked in there, they're showing their tits and they don't want their dad to see it. There's a reason
So
why.
you're
They're
against
embarrassed.
like MA rated movies, you think they should be banned? MA
No,
R-rated
I
movies should
don't
be
think
banned?
that. And I even said that in an artistic way, I could see a person, it should be allowed, some nudity. But what you're doing
Yeah,
is
and
not
if an
art.
actor who is artistically naked in a movie doesn't want their family to see the movie because they're naked,
Because it's immoral,
does that mean
because they're
it's immoral?
embarrassed.
So now
Yeah.
you think artistic nudity is immoral?
For their family to see it, yes, that is immoral. For their family to see it, yes.
Okay, but
Listen,
that isn't what immoral means.
I know, but you're trying to argue morality. I'm saying this is bad for society. Being a prostitute is
But this is a
immoral.
moral
That's my
argument.
point.
We
I'm
can't talk
saying
about this
the
without
only
bringing in
the
moral.
only point I want to make is being a whore and a prostitute and selling yourself for money is immoral. That's the only point I'm trying to make.
So it is a moral argument.
Okay, yeah, you're a moral whore, yeah.
Last word to you, Diddley, before we move to the next question.
Well, I disagree.
Okay. All right. The last one coming in. High Flyer had asked a question. I'm not sure who Glenn Beck is and some of these names that you guys are throwing out, so I'm going to abstain from them. I hope you guys respect that. So thank you, High Flyer, for your super chat there. Appreciate that. The Red Boy asks, Alex, if quantity of content is the issue, you're treating women like a commodity that is devalued based on supply versus demand. It says a lot about you. Ooh, they're coming at you at the end there. Thoughts, Alex, before
That's what I'm
closing statement?
saying. Well, I try to use the supply and demand. Since your tits are just in full supply, I mean, it lowers its value, right? Because there's an overabundance of it. So, all these girls, because there's so many OnlyFans, it just makes sex like less cool because everybody can just be a prostitute and a whore. So
Is
yeah,
that
I
just
think
a you problem though? Like you
I think
think
that's a
that
society problem. This is a
so do you view
society.
sex as less cool? Like you don't find it as fun because porn exists?
No, I'm saying that the fact that there's more OnlyFans whores, it kind of it makes sex less special. Yeah.
I mean, to you, maybe.
All right.
Well, I think masturbation, I think a lot of stuff in society is not good, but I think it still exists, but I still think it's bad.
I mean, society kind of dictates what is good and what is not, and we know that they
I think
love
overwhelmingly
masturbation
society would say
and love
OnlyFans is bad.
pornography. So let the people have what they want, I say.
I disagree.
All right. Let us move into 1 minute closings. Thanks everybody for your super chats. I want to just remind you all once again, we got our tickets for DebateCon 4 linked in the description below, along with all of the amazing perks you can get through our crowdfund. Once again, I'll put that up on the screen. You can see, you can get a signed picture of your favorite debater. So if you're an Iron Raw fan, you can get something like this, or if you want the signed emblem on the right there, you can get something like that by donating to the crowdfund and helping us get this event off the ground. We've only got a few days left and we haven't quite broken even yet. It doesn't look like we will, but we're still going to proceed, of course, and it will be free to watch on YouTube regardless of that. So over to you, Alex. 1 minute on the clock.
Listen, Didley, I know I said a lot of stuff calling you a prostitute and a whore, and I do stand by all that, but I can agree to disagree. You're going to continue to do it. You're going to continue to tell yourself that you're happy doing this, but I'm just talking about overall for society. I think that you're worth more than $15. I think that you're actually pretty smart. I think that you are pretty. You probably could marry a guy, but for some reason you have some sort of weird sexual kink where you like watching your partner bang other girls and you like banging other guys in front of him. So you're like a sexual degenerate and you're a prostitute. So it's hard to kind of argue with you. So I'm just going to have to agree to disagree. And only time will tell. I'll keep in checking, tabs on you. I'm sure you'll do the same with me, but nothing's personal. I really do wish you the best. And I'm not just saying that. I hope you do have a successful career. I hope your YouTube channel is successful. But I do hope in the future, if you do ever regret it, I hope you reach out to me and you say, oh, Alex, you know what? You were right. That's all I'd ask for.
Alrighty, and 1 minute on the floor to you, Didley. Close us out.
All right. Yeah, I think you took this as an opportunity to just personally attack me the whole time. You didn't really care for the actual argument. So, I mean, kind of what I expected coming into this, really. So it's not like it's disappointing or anything. But
Well, you're shameless though, right? So it
All right,
doesn't matter.
She gets 1 minute
well,
on
so
the
are you.
clock here.
It's not a bad thing. Yeah, I guess I just want to say that I think as a society, we've already decided that OnlyFans is good for society. Our society loves coming. They love masturbation. They love porn. It's here to stay, whether you watch it or not, whether you like it or not. So, hey, if we're going to have porn, why not make it as ethical and as safe as possible? I think OnlyFans is a great step in the right direction, and it's only going to get better from here. Keep on coming, guys.
Straight from the prostitute's mouth. I love it. This is great. That's what a prostitute should say, right?
All right. I said last word over to Didley, but Alex Stein. I think he's back on the show, and as you know, he likes getting that last word in there, guys. So we are going to close it out. Once again, like a broken record, I'm going to drop the needle. DebateCon 4, everybody. We're going to be in Dallas, Texas. Let us know in the live chat where you're at right now. I'm hanging out in Nova Scotia. Where are you hanging out, Didley?
Where am I hanging out?
Yeah, where's your stomping grounds? I'm in Nova Scotia.
I'm in the Outback.
And yourself, Alex, where are you at right now?
I'm in Dallas, Texas. Pimp on a blimp. Guys, make sure to watch my show Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Blaze TV, Primetime with Alex Stein. Go check it out.
And yet you won't be at DebateCon. Shame on
I'll
you.
be out of town. When I got my boxing match this weekend, I'm fighting Mike Harrington in Tampa, November 4th, guys. It's going to be insane. 16-ounce gloves, no headgear. It's going to be a fight night like you've never seen, an actual bloodbath. So if you guys want to see that, go to carnivalofcombat.com. You can see me fight November 4th, this Saturday. Get your tickets.
All right. Well, I'll give you a chance, Didley. Where can everybody find you?
I'm Didley ASMR on YouTube. Just hit 500k subs. Let's go. Let's get that up. Twitch is Didley. My Twitter is Didley and OnlyFans is Didley.
All right. Let us close out, everybody. Thanks for coming out, and we'll see you next time for more juicy debates. Good night.
Peace. Nice.
Wasting time, all of my life, living in a world of aggression. Tyranny's mixed with self-oppression. What am I to do but tear away when I'm boiling at the top? Try to find a way to fight the fires, mount a rap from the minds of liars. You call the shots as you bow your heads, and the march never stops. The stars could be free, but this insanity bends you right by the knee. Running in circles now for something that can't be found. And I bet as you hit the wall, the rain starts to fall. You can run away, sing a tune that's true. I'll be beside you. Starts to decay from tears of blood, regrets of laughter. Turn around as your heart beat faster. You hollow shape as the faith begins to drop. Shelter can find your thoughts of suicide. It's hanging down by the fray. Running in circles now for something that can't be found, and there's no time for today. You prayed away, the world would be untrue. I will rise against you. Until they're gone, nothing can matter at all. Insanity bends you right by the knee. Running in circles now for something that can't be found. Out of breath, smashed the wall. The water consumed all. You prayed away that the world would be untrue as it rose against you. Did you think it would always be for free? Now sit back, watch it burn, burn, burn for